Who's ready for some of my terrible jokes? Oh, that was not the reaction I was hoping for. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I just wanted to get a check and see who's here because they love Kizuna. That is the correct response. Well, we're here at the venue lah. Who's here because you know about ghost maps? I was expecting a slightly louder response to that one, but it's okay.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, hi everybody, my name is Wayne.
And I'm Kyle.
Yes, that's the handsome gentleman next to me. We are the co-creators of the podcast Ghost Maps. I was hoping for like at least one person to go, woo, Ghost Maps! There we go. Yes. Thank you. What we do for Ghost Maps is we get real people to come and tell us their ghost stories, and then we fictionalize it a little bit and make it like a nice big production. And sometimes what we do is we also do a live show online called Dead Air, where we invite guests over and they tell us their ghost stories. Basically, the gist is we collect ghost stories.
Yep.
So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing here today. We want everybody to tell us their ghost stories, not just to collect, but to share with everybody in the crowd. Don't worry, we're not just gonna have you guys come up. We'll be sharing our stories as well.
Yep.
So let's get things started a bit. But before we do,
first thing first, we want to thank Audio Technica for sponsoring the equipment. And the best 2 stories actually get Audio Technica earphones.
Okay, good.
So there's a giveaway. So there's something for you guys to...
So, bring out your scariest stories.
Must be scariest one, huh?
Yeah. You can't just come to
You have to scare Wayne and I.
So everybody is invited to come up and share their stories.
It's an open mic.
It's an open mic, so feel free to come up. We'll invite you guys up.
Yeah.
We also wanted to thank Kizuna again for hosting us here.
A shout out to the team that's working really hard, to get your food and your drinks out. Shout out to Kizuna. Shout out to Shen and Sam. Sam is a genius. He came out with some of the best names for the drinks, like the Orang Minyak.
Wait. I've got the menu right here.
The Orang Minyak inspired Yu, which is Oi Oi. And then the Hantu Tete inspired Got Milk.
Yes, with gin, frangelico, kahlua, espresso, and cream. It all looks very good. I don't know about Kyle, but I won't be drinking because God knows what will happen if I drink too much.
Yep.
So that's... Who else? Do we have to thank a few more people?
Oh yeah, and the music that's playing is actually the music that we use. It comes from a horror music creator, Miyu. So yeah, do enjoy the music lah. Creepy vibes.
All right.
Yeah. And then to the fans that are listening from home, in all over the world, thank you for the support.
We're not just like pointing.
We're pointing to a small camera.
Just in case it seems a bit weird that we're like to the fans over there.
And to the fans from the beyond.
Yeah.
Thank you also.
Yes. All right. So we're gonna start probably with. Shall we start with my story first?
Yeah.
All right.
You must say the location first.
I will say the location. So this is. Oh, I love the music. This was in Kovan-ish. It's around the Kovan area. I won't get too specific about it. I will preface first by saying that my ghost story is probably not as scary as his, which is fine. We'll start you guys off a bit slow first. I was 15 at the time, and it was a Saturday night. And wait, hang on. I'm doing this in the announcer voice. I have to do this to match the music. It was a Saturday night. Don't laugh lah. I'll try to do my serious ghost telling voice. It was a Saturday night. We were all 15 at the time, and we were having a house party at a friend's condo. Let's just say around the Kovan area. We started out at 7:30 because, like I said, we're 15. But also at the same time, we're like, house party, yeah, we're cool. So the house party went on throughout the night. 10 o'clock went by. There was no booze because none of us was smart enough to be able to get alcohol at 15. Also, if you're underage, don't drink. Eventually, it reached about 2-3 o'clock in the morning. People still hanging around, chilling out by the pool. There was one guy that was throwing like plastic furniture into the pool. Everybody's hanging out. Some people were probably making out. I wasn't so lucky. But just chilling and everything by the pool late at night. And for some reason, I started to feel a little bit bored. And I just wanted to take a walk. Which, in retrospect, probably wasn't the best idea. But again, I was 15, not the brightest 15-year-old in the world. So I left the condo. And I'm glad that you all can see me. We have an actual live audience here. So I walked from the condo down this dimly lit road. It's not a big road. It's 2 lanes, but it's very small. It's hidden in that giant Kovan area. And as I'm walking down, the lights of the street lights, they start to flicker a little bit. I assume, electrical problems. But that's just me, Again, not the smartest 15-year-old. So I walk and I hit this cross junction. And on the other side of the cross junction, there's a school. I won't say which school it is. And next to that school was a church. But the church is over on the other side. It's just the back entrance to the church. So I go past the cross junction. And as I walk past the school, I see that there's like the rubbish area there. And I noticed that, you've got your dumpsters down there and everything. But just beyond the dumpsters, it's a small area. Just beyond the dumpsters, just this darkness. You can't see anything. The light doesn't hit there. None of it. And for some reason, I think to myself, oh yeah, it's a good idea to stop down here and stare in there. Because something was compelling me to look in that area. So I look for a little while and I think to myself, oh, it's probably nothing. And then I hear this growl. Just this low, like, "Urgh." It's not exactly a dog. Not exactly like any animal that I've heard. It's just, it almost sounds like a growl or a mumble. Just like that. And I keep looking and I think to myself, again, probably an animal. And then these 2 red eyes stare back at me. And they're 2 red eyes that are eye level of me. Now, you guys can probably see I'm not the tallest person in the world. But if it was an animal, it shouldn't have been that tall. At least not somewhere in Kovan. These eyes stare at me for a little while. And then it starts to move out of the darkness. Now at this point, I'm a dumb teenager, but I'm not that dumb. So, I heard you laughing, Carl. I'm a dumb teenager, but I'm not that dumb. So, I turn. And as I turn, I catch a glimpse of it. I can't accurately describe to you what I saw. I know it was some kind of animal. I love how it suddenly went really quiet. I know it was some kind of animal that stepped out. But as I turned to run, it wasn't just stepping out. It pushed the dumpsters away. I heard the dumpsters move, and it started running towards me. I sprint as fast as I can. And again, not the tallest guy in the world, so not the longest legs. Not the fittest guy in the world, even as a teenager. But I just run as fast as I can. And I can feel my heart pumping. And you know that feeling when you're running really hard and your chest starts to, like it's burning in your chest? I had that. It was a short run, but I was already like breathing heavily. I glance around very quickly to see whether I can get a clear look of what it is. I want to see how far away from me it was. And it was right behind me. And it was moving really fast. I honestly felt like it could have caught me if it wanted to. I don't know whether it was toying with me or whatever it was trying to do, but it was right behind me. And then I hit the cross junction. And I go past the cross junction. And bear in mind, this whole time, I can hear it behind me. I can practically feel hot air on my neck, and I can hear the "Rrr." Steady and low. It's not the growl doesn't get any higher than that. It just goes "Rrr" the whole time. As I pass by the cross junction, suddenly there's no breath on my neck. There's no low growl or anything like that. And I turn around, and it's gone. And I don't, like, part of me wants to go back and see, like, did I imagine the whole thing? But I know I didn't imagine the whole thing because, again, not smart enough to get alcohol at 15. Also, again, don't drink if you're underage. So it's fully sober, fully awake. And I know that. So my first instinct is, I want to go back and see that. Did I imagine all that? And I try to take a step back to go over the cross junction, and I just stopped myself. Like, unconsciously, I could not move back past that junction. So I went back, and went back to the condo. Everybody's like sitting around and everything. And I think I'm hiding it quite well. I think I'm like, oh, okay, just play it cool and everything. And I get back there, and, you know, most of my friends don't pay attention. Everybody's doing their own thing. One or two of them, however, they see the look on my face. And, you know, they don't so much ask me what I saw, but they give you that look, like the shrug, like, what happened? And I just shake my head. I'm like, and weirdly enough, as the day, like, you know, when after the party's over, a few days later, I'm talking to my friends and everything, I'm not the only one that saw this, apparently. So a few other people had seen it before, different circumstances. Some of them saw it less clearly. Nobody ever really saw it more clearly than what I saw. But everybody remembers that. Everybody remembers those red eyes. Everybody remembers it moving, and everybody remembers it moving on 4 legs while still being eye level with me. And that was, I think that was my second supernatural experience. And yeah, so that was my first story. Kyle, now that I've warmed them up with something that was fairly PG-13, right? That wasn't like, you know, y'all weren't like, oh my god, not the Wolfman of Hougang, heavens, no. But yeah, so when I told Kyle the story, Kyle said that he's heard about this before as well.
Yeah. Apparently, it's a urban legend. I don't know if anybody heard it before. Like during the IRC days, those email chains, right? So there is apparently like an ongoing chain mail that you need to send this forward to 10 people. If not, the Wolfman of Hougang is gonna get you. Like there's different variations. There's the one where it's the Kakak one, which is Pontianak. Then this is the one that actually I remember about.
I just want to say, and I'm probably aging myself a little bit, this was before chain emails because we didn't have emails in that time. So just to give you a rough idea of how old I was, how old I am. I was 15 at the time, so, you know, that says a lot right there. But yeah, so that was my story. Once again, this is an open mic night. Once again, there will be prizes. Everybody gets a little token for coming up to share their ghost stories. The best ghost stories, however, will receive prizes from Audio Technica. So if anybody wants to come up, just raise your hand. If you got a story to share, raise your hand. If not, we can continue telling our stories first. Yeah. When you feel a bit more warmed up, when you've had enough of the drinks, what are the drinks called again? Yu got milk,
Chinese jumping ones, Jiangshi basically.
And Big Sister, Kakak.
Pontianak lah, basically.
So, you know, if you had enough liquid courage in you, and you want to come out and tell your stories, you're welcome to come out and tell your stories.
I think I need a little bit more, but yeah.
Kyle does as well. So, Kyle, would you like to share with them your ghost story?
Okay, so my ghost story, you see the pattern, my ghost story is also in the northeastern part of Singapore, actually Kovan as well, very near here. You know as a feeling, right, when you go to a place where it's kind of dirty, you can feel it, like you can feel the chill down your spine. Yeah, I had that for my aunt's house, which is in Kovan near Charlton Lane. So I always had that feeling. But I've never seen anything at that house before. And my father, who is super garang, he's like a full-on not scared of ghosts, and he will probably punch the ghost. Kind of. He went to the house and he said, wait, this house is quite creepy, you know. And let me illustrate to you like how big the house is. It's about a 4-story semi-D. But there's only 4 people living in it. So my aunt, my uncle, my cousin, and the maid. And then the maid stays in the maid's quarters at level 1. The rest of them stays in level 2, right? So whenever I go to level 1, right, at the back of the house, I always get this creepy feeling. Like almost like you're like being watched lah. But you know, you always feel that when you're going to switch off lights for the night and then you run up the stairs.
Just to check, you sure it's not like neighbors or what looking at you?
No,
Okay.
because it's
Alright.
it's private estate.
Okay.
So whenever I stay over, I get that feeling, but you know, you just don't really care as a teenager. But then the trend started happening, right? My aunt had changed 8 maids over the course of 2 years. Give or take lah. I thought it was just her being demanding lah. Until she told me this story, which was super scary. So there was the last one that she changed, this maid who apparently dabbled in a bit of witchcraft and black magic. So, and then she messed with the wrong people. So, you know, like you play with black magic, it tends to play back. Then she apparently got cursed. And adding to the supernatural aura of that house, the house is already very scary, very cold and dark. There was one night where she kind of snapped. She basically at 10 p.m., everybody's asleep. She went up to the second floor and like just knocked very heavily on my aunt's bedroom door and just tell her, "Ma'am, I need to go home now." Like with those crazy eyes. And then my aunt, she, even though not that much of a believer, but she knew that there was something wrong. At least maybe she just snapped lah. Like she could be a danger to the whole family lah. So she's like, okay, go back to sleep. We will figure out something out tomorrow. Then after half an hour, she heard like things being destroyed at level 1. So it has to be very loud to reach level 2. And as she's going down the steps, she told me she heard 3 voices coming from the room. There's only 4 people staying in the house. So how are there 3 voices? So obviously from that maid lah. And then the maid was speaking in gibberish, arguing with herself, throwing things around the room, and having different voices. And she went to knock and tried to open the door, but it was locked lah. So she called the husband. My uncle is an atheist, so he doesn't believe in the supernatural. So he went down, he's like, wow, this one is a little bit dangerous. Maybe what we should do is we should call the cops. And they called the cops. So police arrived, 2 of them arrived, went to the door, immediately they called for backup. Immediately. So they knew there was something going on. And then 2 more came, called for backup. So at the end, there were 8 police officers in the house. And then they had to, because to protect her own life also, so they had to break down the door and went in with riot shoes, 2 riot shoes. She told me, basically they pinned her down and then they handcuffed her on her hands and her legs and carry her out. So what happened was she actually got possessed by 3 different entities. Yeah, but that was basically it. So there was no happy ending or anything. They sent her back the next day, immediately, and then she called back from her home country and then was normal. She told, "Oh, thank you for sending me back. I'm normal now." She called back. Then that thing never really got resolved. So I always had a theory that that house is haunted, very haunted, especially the maid's room, because of the location. And I've actually heard a quite good share of stories from Wayne himself, like that area, Lorong Asu, very dirty.
Well, you know. To be fair, a lot of my stories are going to be around the area anyway.
Yeah.
My next one's probably around the area as well.
Yeah.
I like how you said there's no happy ending to the story, but
There's no happy ending.
To be fair, she did call and say, "I'm normal now." So
I don't think she's normal.
Well, you know, at least she seems to think that, you know, she was rid of those, whatever it was that was possessing her. All right. Gonna open up the floor. Anyone? What?
You, sir.
Go.
Please come.
Guys, round of applause for our first ghost story.
Speak into the mic.
Mic check.
Yeah. Good.
Okay. Good evening, my name is Justin.
Everybody can hear him? Everybody can hear Justin?
Can everybody hear Justin?
All good? Cool.
I'm a train driver for a railway company which I will not name, and because this story involves a skeleton which is still to this day entombed in a tunnel.
Aha!
I will not mention the details, but during the construction of the line, there was an accident and they couldn't get all the bodies out. Out of 8, 2 died, 1 is still entombed to the tunnel till this day. This is the history where my story begins.
So wait, just to be clear, we're not saying which country this train line is in. We're not saying where the train line is in. All right, fair enough. Just to be clear. All right.
Okay. Do you guys know what's a point machine? It's a machine which controls the track direction.
Right. Okay.
So, in the interest of passenger safety, every morning there will be a sweep train which goes through the whole line to make sure that no materials or construction equipment from the previous night are left on the track.
All right.
Story is that the operations control center camera caught a picture of a construction worker sitting in the point machine. Now, to let you know, when trains are running, no human activity is allowed on track. Nobody is supposed to be on the track.
Right.
So they asked the station staff to go down and investigate because the point machine is within the border of the station.
Yep.
He refused to go down. He's too scared.
Fair enough.
So what do you guys do? What to do? Ask the train driver to get down, don the high-vis vest, walk to the area. He didn't see anything. But my own personal experience when driving through that area is sometimes when you look at the reflection in your mirror or window, you can see somebody standing behind you or standing on the track.
What time was it? When
Well,
that
just to
person...
give you a theory, the sweep train departs at 4 a.m. every morning, so it's about 4:30ish.
Oh, lovely. That sounds like a great time to go seeing strangers in the middle of the dark.
Yep.
Thank you so, Justin, right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
welcome.
Wait. That's all right?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so
Thank
much
you,
for that
thank
story.
Well done.
Justin. Now, I don't know which train line this is. I don't know which country this is.
Frankly, I don't want to.
Yeah, frankly, I don't want to, but I think I'm going to be taking the bus for the next couple of days, at least.
Yep.
No last train for me. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else want to come up and tell some ghost stories? Anybody? I see y'all egging each other on. You're welcome to come up.
Yeah. You can arrow your friends.
You want? All right.
Oh, nice.
Hello, sir.
Hello,
What's your name?
Hi. Yeah. I'm gonna give a lot of details, so maybe I should give my real name. So my name is Kizuna.
Hi, Kizuna.
Hi.
Yeah. I need to give a lot of context to this story.
Sure.
It's actually not haunting, but it's an unusual experience.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I used to work in this building. I think most of you will know the building is very Instagrammable. The Old Hill Street Police Station.
Oh,
The
nice.
building in the multicolor windows. Yeah. So I used to work there, and I happened to be from another office, and then we moved into that building. Yeah. And because there were so many of the haunting stories going around that building, so a couple of the directors there decided to pool together resources and hire the different religious leaders to bless the building.
All right.
So the night before we moved in, it was a Sunday night. And unfortunately, I was the one being arrowed to facilitate all the religious leaders to do the blessing. So at 8 p.m., I was at the courtyard. Imagine the building was totally dark. I was at the courtyard waiting for the religious leaders to arrive. But that wasn't the haunting. When they arrived, then they started going around blessing.
Yeah.
And I was left behind to burn the incense paper for the Buddhist leader. But that was really not the haunting. So after that, everybody thought the building was safe. Yeah. And if you remember how the building is being structured, it's a L shape,
Yeah.
right? And which means that when you walk into the lift lobby, which is at the annex of the two L shape, your office is all the way along corridor, right? And the corridor is very, very narrow. So all the workstations are on two sides. And back in those days, the workstations have partitions that's above your head.
Right.
So imagine you're walking down the corridor, you can't see anything or anyone inside, all the way to the end. Right? Yeah, so I had to set the context for that.
Good
and my
context.
office happened to be on one of these long corridor. And back in those days, we didn't have the luxury of a laptop for you to work from home. So whenever you need to do any checking, you have to go back to office.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And I happened to be doing events. And a lot of the events happen on Saturday and Sunday. So it's always my habit to go back on a Saturday night to check the emails in case there are any changes to the event on Sunday. And the timing depends. Could be after dinner, could be after movie. So sometimes it's after midnight.
Oh,
So
fun.
there was this particular night, it's after a movie, and I was there after midnight. Typically what I'll do is that I will walk through the car park, go into the lift lobby, take the lift up to my floor, then I'll use my access card to enter my division or the department.
Right.
And it's an extremely long corridor, just remember that.
Yeah.
And at about 1 a.m., there's really nothing. It's complete darkness and it's complete silence. Yeah. So, one of the evenings that I went back that night, typically what I do is that I will walk to my station, which is about 1/3 down the long corridor. Yeah. Then I will go inside. You know the old days, a PC, it take a long time to put up, right? So, when they put up, I always turn on the radio, and then I will go to the toilet first. Yeah. And the toilet happened to be right at the end of the corridor. So I had to walk the other 2/3 down the corridor and I walk back the entire length of the corridor back to my workstation. Yeah. So for that particular night, I remember very vividly, and my radio was an old type. If you remember the old day radio, is the volume is a turn knob. You have to click it, turn it on, then the volume, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, then you turn down anti-clockwise and then click it off.
Yep.
So I am. Yeah, that's 2000.
He is, but to be fair, I'm the one nodding and Carl's going, I don't know what you're talking about. What's a radio?
So you turn the knob and you turn to the volume and the song was playing. Then I put on my PC and I started walking to the toilet.
Right.
And I remember I was singing to the song as I was walking to the toilet.
Do you remember what song it was?
I can't remember. That was like more than 20 years ago. And when I reached the end of the corridor, unfortunately the toilet has to be behind another door.
Oh, no.
So which means to open the door, walk into this small little space where the male and female toilets on either side. So the moment the door closed behind me, there are totally no sound. I couldn't even hear the radio. Yeah. So after I finished my business and I opened the door, then I walked back, there were no song. Yeah. And I was thinking, what happened to the radio? It was so silent. Yeah. So I thought maybe somebody came out to turn off the radio, or maybe somebody faulted the radio.
Yeah.
So I walked all the way back. Again, you imagine the whole corridor. I couldn't see anything. As I turned, then a small little partition. I don't know whether anybody inside the workstation. So when I finally reached my workstation, then I realized the radio was off. Somebody turned the volume all the way down. I clicked it to turn it off. My first instinct is somebody was in the office.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I stood up, I started calling, anyone there? Anyone out there? Of course, it was total silence. I was expecting a head to pop up from one of the partitions, but none did. Yeah. So my next speculation was that the security guard came out. Yeah. So I called the guard. They said they never came up at that time because it's not their round to plow the place. Yeah. So really, I just didn't know what to do at that point in time. Should I stay or should I go? Yeah.
Just to interject, I love how logical you were about all this.
Yep.
As opposed to me, who are at this point in time just run. I like how you actually called the security guard and everything. Very good. Very brave of you, yes.
Because it's
So-
a real experience, so I really remember very vividly. So what I did was, I turned on the radio again and checked my email because I need to work the next day. That shows the commitment level. But I believe that if you don't offend the person or whatever it is, it will not offend you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's our kind of
Yeah, that's our
approach as well. Just don't be disrespectful.
but just very rude lah. Switch off people music or
Yeah, I mean, to be fair,
At least channel lah.
or what the ghosts were trying to say was maybe don't work so much overtime lah.
Yeah.
It's a bit late.
Work life
go home.
balance.
Or they may not like the song.
Could be that also. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, man. Thank you, Kizuna.
Yeah. nice story. Have you been to Old Hill? The Old Hill police.
I generally try to stay away from scary buildings.
I think it's still open.
Well, I'm not following you there. Just to talk about scary buildings, what's interesting is that our old office, we can reveal it now, right?
Yeah.
Our old office used to be Golden Mile Tower.
Yeah.
Golden Mile Tower. Yes.
One
for
guy
Golden
at the
Mile.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Golden Mile.
Big Golden Mile fans out there. Yeah. No, I didn't have any experience. Did you have? You did.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my office was at Golden Mile Tower. I stayed there for about 2 years. So I only left like early this year. So quite recent lah. So it was on the 11th floor. I can review this one, no problem. It's on the 11th floor. Then when I went to view the unit, there were 2 units. One right in front of the main door. When you go into Golden Mile Tower, right, the office building, you take the lift up. Then it's just this big area, like a gathering point. Then the toilets. Then one super creepy lobby with 2 red doors. Then you go in. Then it's all the office buildings, right? So I view the first like office, which is okay lah, which no ghost one lah, hot one. Then there is one unit right all the way at the end of the corridor, where the washing point and the rubbish dump is. Like just one big unit, and the unit is super cheap, the rental. And this point was just before the pandemic, like 3 months before the pandemic. And then I went to see. I didn't even go in. I went to see. The agent didn't even come. Just went to see. Then I see, wow, this price is too good to be true, and it's all the way at the end. I think got ghosts, So I went to ask around. So I asked around. Apparently there were rumors that certain units at Golden Mile Tower cannot rent out. Got ghosts on. Like you will not stay there for more than 2 months. Then I asked my dad. My dad used to be a police officer, so he told me, yeah, I think I attended a case there. Yeah, obviously someone passed away.
Okay.
In that level lah.
I was going to ask what kind of case.
So that was years ago. And then you can look from the outside with the car park at level 6 of Golden Mile Tower. You can look from the outside and see that the unit is super empty, super rundown. Yeah, very clear. So yeah lah. Then I've always known that Golden Mile but we are horror guys. We should be we should embrace this. So yeah, I will work at 2-3 a.m. Then I will just say, okay, I'm working here because my client made me work late. You want to go haunt my client, don't haunt me, okay? I don't want to be here as much as So there was one time where we went out for supper, and then we came back at about 10 plus 11, and then the guys went back to the office first. So I needed to take a dump. So I went to the toilet, and the toilet was very creepy. Similar to your story, so you have to go in the door, then there's a walkway, then female toilet, male toilet. So you go in, then they all make creepy sound on the door, like.
Can I add to the atmosphere of the toilet?
Yeah.
This sounds so stereotypical, and you think that of all places, of course it will be in Golden Mile. When you walk into the male toilet, you'll see the 3 cubicles there. Above each cubicle, there are the fluorescent lights. Above the first cubicle, every once in a while, the fluorescent light just starts flickering.
Lousy lah, the electrical work.
It probably was that. It's probably just terrible wires, faulty wires and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it really does not help when you're in the middle of Golden Mile Tower.
At 11.
At 11.
And you're alone.
Yeah.
Then I always like to take the corner unit because cleaner.
That's true.
Nobody there to use. I
I 100% agree.
I used, then, okay, I was done, right? Then I left. I opened the door. Then the door, it will swing back one. The cubicle door, you close it, then you will swing back and close.
Yeah.
As if something pushing it. So all the doors is closed, but there's nobody using it. So that's creepy, right? Never mind. I wash my hand. I open the door, exiting the toilet, I heard behind me. And then any normal person, right, would just run, right?
Yeah.
Then I try to logicalize. Confirm, maybe got someone, then I turn back. Nothing.
Quite frankly, I think if there was someone, it'd be worse.
Then I just walk. Then I walk faster.
Because if I'm in the toilet, I don't want to hear somebody behind me going,
So immediately, I went back to the office, I grabbed my stuff, I left. I go home. I said I go work from home. I work from home. I'm not going to work tonight.
I'm starting to suspect that a lot of ghosts just really encourage work-life balance.
Yep.
That's the sense I'm getting from tonight's session.
Then I realized it was during the 7th month.
Why lah you?
Yeah.
Why ah?
Yeah. Well, we did pray lah. We did burn. You need to bribe them lah.
Yeah.
To protect you. So. But then I think I didn't burn enough lah. That's why it makes sound lah.
Get jobs all, don't know how to share the wealth. See lah. This is what happens. All right. So that's anybody again. Open mic. Come on up if you want to share your stories. If not, I will keep talking. I love the sound of my own voice.
He does.
So yeah. So please just do everybody a favor and shut me up and tell your ghost stories. Until the next person comes up, let me tell you more about. I guess the Kovan area lah.
This area.
It's basically the Kovan area.
Yeah.
But this is more along Upper Serangoon Road. So
Can walk.
Can walk. Does anybody here know about Upper Serangoon Shopping Centre, that area? Anybody familiar with it? Yeah, the
one.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So
Now you see the link, right?
Yes. Along that stretch, there used to be this one old condominium. It's since been torn down and a new condominium's been built up.
You can review the name lah.
No lah. Then can still find the location now.
Can it's okay
Okay, wait. Nobody here lives in Upper Serangoon Road, right? Just
It's
to
okay
check.
Halloween
Nobody, right? Okay.
Add in the atmosphere.
Used to? Okay, used to is fine.
You go back home, walk faster.
Yeah. This place used to be the Serangoon Apartments.
Yep.
Okay, so if you're familiar with Serangoon Apartments, it's this old condo. It looks like nobody's touched it since like the 1960s or something. And I knew people who lived there, and on the ground floor. So just to give you an idea first, before I get into the actual story itself of how creepy this place is. I mean, this one isn't my story to tell, but literally it was once in the afternoon where my friends were gathered in the living room, and a small girl ran out from like the back room. Nobody knows who the small girl was. Front door was locked. Small girls ran out and then ran out of the house. So just to give you a rough idea of how weird stuff happens down there. So we were all gathered at a friend's place. I think we were watching football at the time. I can't tell you what match it was. I don't follow sports. I was just there for the company.
And we lost 2 fans just like that.
I'm sure. I'm terribly sorry, but go sports ball. So all of us were gathered in the living room and everything in my friend's condo. And just to give you an idea of how it's orientated, from his living room, you can see the back of the condo. The back of the condo has nothing. It's literally just grass, lots of very old tall trees, and a slope downwards. Behind that, I think further down is the field of a school. But you can't see any of this. All you see is the trees and basically just darkness. So we were in the living room. Right next to the living room is the kitchen. How the kitchen is orientated is that there's a sink at the far end of the kitchen where you do your dishes and everything. In front of the sink, also a window. So you see the back. And you can see all the darkness and the nothingness that stares right back at you. At the other side of the kitchen, there's the back room. And the back room is cluttered with stuff. It's just, the families lived there for years and years. So it's all their stuff. Like, I found out later on that there was a toilet in the back room and everybody forgot the toilet was there because there's so much stuff inside. So it's after, a night of, I'm going to say football. And I was 18 at the time already. I just want to make this clear for people watching at home and everything. Everybody wanted to go out for a smoke. Okay? So everybody wanted to go out to the lobby for a smoke. And we were like, all right, yeah, let's go. But, we had dinner and everything, and my friend had cooked. And I was feeling weirdly kind that night for some reason. And I went, I don't know why. And I went, hey, why don't I just wash up first? You guys just head out, I'll wash up and I'll join you after that. This was about, I want to say 8 o'clock at night. So completely dark. So when you look out from his living room, his TV is in front of this giant window. Look out, darkness. You go into the kitchen, at the sink, where I, again, volunteered to wash dishes. In front of it, window, you look out, complete darkness. So everybody heads out for their smoke. I foolishly decide not to join them. I bring stuff to the kitchen and I start washing up. And as I'm washing up, I realize suddenly I am the only person in this unit right now. His parents weren't there. His brother wasn't there. Everybody else was outside. So I'm washing up, and it alternates. At first, I feel like there's something waiting for me outside in the darkness. I can't see. I try to squint, and I'm sure this at least was in my imagination, but I think I see somebody standing out there. I can't be 100% sure. I'm quite certain it's my imagination, but I don't know. So naturally, I keep washing dishes instead of running out like an idiot. But I don't look up. I just stare down and wash dishes, and thankfully don't drop any plates. Keep washing. And I'm like, okay, fine. If I don't look, maybe it's not so bad. And then the hair on the back of my neck starts to stand. And I turn around and I realize how deep and how dark the back room is. And I try not to look at it. So I'm literally trapped between the rock and a hard place of don't look up there, don't look behind, just keep looking down and keep washing dishes. And it's tolerable for a while. And again, I don't know how much of this is imagination. I don't know how much of this is stuff that might have actually happened. And again, this is just to set for you the context of how creepy this place is. I think I hear footsteps behind me. And by this point in time, my friend already tells me the story about the strange little girl that ran out from the back room that has no entrance to it except from the living room. So I keep hearing footsteps behind me, and I look up, and there's nothing there. And I turn around, and I quickly catch glimpses of the darkness in front of me, and I keep thinking I'm seeing somebody standing in front. And now it starts to feel like whoever's standing in front is getting closer and closer and closer, and I still can't see anything but what I imagine's a vague shape. As it starts getting closer and closer, I decide, I'm not going to swear, but basically I said, fudge this. Replace fudge with another word. The hell with this. I put down the plates and I go out, light cigarette, again, sit down very quiet. Based on these stories, I imagine you all probably think my friends think I'm a very quiet person. Far from the truth. But I sit down and I'm smoking, and my friend who lives down there, who's seen so many things in that house. You know, he's seen doppelgangers, he's seen spirits waiting for him outside. He's seen other things in the house. He looks at me and goes, wanted to wash dishes in the kitchen, right? Yeah. Voice goes up high. Yeah. And he's like, didn't see anything, right? No. And he's like, but you felt it, right? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, that's why, you know, when you volunteer, I was like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, we'll be fine. And he was like, all right, but you know, I guess you just had to experience that. And I was like, yeah, fair enough. So that's just to give you the context of how creepy this place is, where your imagination drives you nuts just because of the feel of the place. Again, it's a building that looks like it hasn't been touched since the 1960s at best. It's got all those very small, like, lime green tiles and everything. It looks old. So there was another night where, this one I remember we were watching football. Oh. Again, I cannot tell you which teams were playing. I'm going to say Liverpool because another two fans. I'm not saying I was supporting Liverpool.
Keep it together, Wayne. Keep it together.
I know. Sports, scariest territory for me. But we were watching football, and I remember it was halftime, so all of us were like chatting and talking and everything. And again, big living room, TV right in front of us, right behind the TV, panoramic window of darkness. You can see vague shapes of trees. You know, you can hear sounds of bats. You can hear sounds of whatever the hell insects are living out there. And darkness. But clear as day. I remember this. Everybody remembers this. Clear as day. Everybody just goes silent. And there was about 10 of us in the living room. 10 of us all watching football. And all of us just go quiet as we watch a head just floating very casually on the outside where the window is. So just beyond the window, in the darkness, clear as day we can see it, just floating. It's not looking at us. It literally looks like it's just walking past. And honestly, if we weren't paying attention, we probably just thought it's some guy walking outside. Unfortunately, it was some guy without a body. So the head just moves like that. And we're all quiet. And we all try not to look at it, but also at the same time can't stop. Like we're doing this, we're like that. And
which floor was this?
First floor. So, you know.
So you could see if there's a body lah.
We could see if there was body. It's a big...
But no body lah.
Nobody.
Okay.
Nobody.
Okay.
I think like maybe 2 people got that terrible pun I just made, and I'm glad that you know,
Yeah.
Nobody went, Big window. If there was a body, we would see it. But there wasn't. I was just floating by. Now, I said there's about 10 of us down there. Again, all of us try not to look, keep quiet and everything. It's silent. You know where this is going.
Yeah.
Except for my friend's then girlfriend, who hasn't had experiences with this kind of thing, doesn't really know about this kind of thing, I assume doesn't believe in this kind of thing. She very loudly, this is not her real voice, okay, I'm exaggerating this slightly for a story, but she very loudly points at the head as it moves past the window. Correct, that's exactly what we all were thinking, Xiao Wei. As she's pointing to her head, not only does she point, she goes, "Hey, what's that, huh?" And my friend, still doing this, turns to his then girlfriend and goes, "Hey, shut up lah." She doesn't listen to him and she keeps going, "What's that? What's that?" Now the hand's shaking as she's pointing. Which, you know, by this point the head, even though it's moving slowly, is already towards the end of the window. So at this point in time, it's nearly where the kitchen is. We can still see it. As she's shaking her head and going, "What's that? Ah? What's that? Ah?" That's when the head turns. And it just looks at us. I can't tell. Because it's like this weird grayish, like dull gray. And its hair was long and messy. Kind of like mine when I don't tie it up. It's long and messy, and it wasn't like staring menacingly. It was just almost casually just looking. Yeah. It was kind of like, it barely wasn't even a sub. It was just like, sup. And it just turns and it looks at us. And then it just continues floating on. And all of us just go, "Oh, thank God she noticed it only towards the end. Thank God she noticed it only towards the
So
end."
she was looking at you guys. The thing was looking
The
at
thing,
you guys.
I don't know
while
what to-
floating away.
Yeah, as it was floating
So
away.
it's like facing you like that.
Yeah, the whole time prior to that,
Whoa.
it wasn't paying attention to us.
To the wall. Like I presume there was a wall and she.
Yeah. So past the wall, only as it was turning towards the wall, then it just goes
How you guys go home after that?
very quickly.
Not like huddle together then don't go home, wait until sunrise.
No. Are you kidding me? I'm not gonna stay in that place any longer than I have to. No, because I was staying at Lorong Asu at the time and I had to make my way back. But I will talk about Charlton.
Walking.
Yeah. Yeah. Charlton Road, very creepy. I'll talk about that one later on. But yeah, so that's possible.
Yeah.
But you
It's a
know,
fan,
it's a fan. I mean, it maybe that's why it wasn't facing. I was just listening to the results as it was going by. I don't know. Yeah.
Maybe
Look, all I knew for a fact it was halftime because the Canadian pizza ad was playing. So yeah, that's Serangoon Apartments. If anybody's planning to buy property in Upper Serangoon Road, it's no longer there. But just look and see what was there before. And if it's the same, I don't know what the new condo is called now, but if it's that place, maybe consider moving somewhere else.
It's behind the shopping center, is it?
It's across the street from the shopping center.
Oh,
diagonally
yeah,
across
okay,
the street from the shopping center.
Oh, it's I think it's a temple.
Of
There's
course
a
it
temple.
is.
There's a temple.
Of course there is.
There's a reason why it's there, lah.
Yes.
Yeah. Later I will tell you guys why there is a temple in Q Crescent.
Oh,
There's
good.
a reason why temples exist, and I mean, don't profane me, please. But like, I think the government they know, like, places that used to be cemeteries needs places of worship.
He
to be there.
thinks he's not making declarative
Yeah,
statements.
I think.
Just want to make that clear.
Yep.
No declarative statements.
Yep, right.
He thinks.
I think.
It is butter theory. All right. We see more people gathered down here. Does anybody else want to tell ghost stories? Because if not,
We can-
Oh, you want to tell?
All right.
All right. Come on up, man. Woo!
Hi.
What's your name, sir?
Are you okay with revealing your name?
Yeah, of course. My
Okay.
name is Mark. Yeah.
Hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Hi. Hello. All right. So, yeah. Oh, hi, Mark. Yes.
Room fans.
Thanks,
Yeah. All right.
All right. So, my story happened in this was 2004.
Wow.
Okay.
When I was 16, I was doing my O levels. I was from SJI, so it's near. If you don't know where SJI is, it's at Stevens Road. Yeah. Hey. Oh.
So
We just gained another
Yeah.
fan. Thanks, Mark.
Alma mater. Hey, right. Right, so SGI right now is at Stevens Road.
Yep.
So that's where, back in 2004, it was still there. It is still there right now, yeah. So
Yep.
this was 2004 when I was doing my O-levels. Sometime around October, so it's already O-level season. And we were all, like after school. I wasn't a very good student. I was from the second last class. And after school, you're supposed to go back and you're supposed to go and do your 10-year series and all that, right? But me and a few friends after classes, we were all just staying around. And we were just like talking trash, right, in the class. And we're talking about ghost stories.
Right.
And my form teacher came into the class, and this was already after, like school hours already. So my form teacher came in and was giving remedial classes to another class of his.
Yeah.
And he sees the 5 of us in the classroom. And he was like, what the hell are you guys doing in here, right? And we were like, I don't know, Mr. I'm not going to say his name, but like Mr. whatever. We just talking about ghost stories, right? And we are just laughing. Then he said, oh, you guys, you like ghosts, is it? Let me tell you about the ghost near SJI. Then you all can go and, like, it's so scary. And we're like, okay, sure, tell us about it. So my teacher said, if you go to Mount Pleasant Road, there's this Mount Pleasant Road. There's this road called Gymkhana Avenue, Gymkhana. It's still there, I think. And Gymkhana Avenue is a very long road, and on the one side of Gymkhana Avenue is a mosque.
Right.
And some Muslim cemetery there. So he said, hey, every time I go to the mosque for prayers, some days, I feel that there's this Pontianak there following me. He said, you guys should go there. He didn't say you should go there. He said, yeah, so there's a ghost there, it's so scary and it haunts me all the time. So I was like, okay, cool. And my teacher said, I know all of you should go home now and study, So I was like, oh, of course. So we left, and as we were packing up, one of my friends, his name is Melvin, he said, hey guys, we should totally go and catch the ghost. We should go and see the ghost.
This sounds like the start of a great story.
Yeah, so we were 16, right? We were 16, and then he said, like, oh, guys, we should totally go and see the ghost. And we were all like, yeah, go and see the ghost. It's great. Pontianaks, we love them, right? We went.
Yay, Pontianak!
Yeah, so it's like a half an hour walk
Yeah.
to Gymkhana Avenue, and we walked there. Gymkhana Avenue is a very long road.
Right.
At the other end is Andrew Road.
Yeah.
On the other, the side that we were entering from is Mount Pleasant
one,
Road.
right?
Yes, Gymkhana Avenue.
Oh my
So there's Mount
God.
Pleasant Drive on one end. We entered from Mount Pleasant Drive, and it was a rainy day, so it was a little bit like humid and foggy, but it was fine. When we entered Gymkhana Avenue, we reached there. There's this very strange bamboo overgrowth that forms almost like an arch.
Right.
The moment we stepped through it, it was foggy. So the fog remained in Gymkhana Avenue. It didn't come out of Gymkhana Avenue. And then we didn't think much of that. We were just like, oh my god, this place is awesome. We're going to have a great ghost hunting
O
session,
levels, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
so
lah,
that was
16.
nice.
Alright,
Very
fair
good,
enough.
very
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
A lot of testosterone.
Yes, yeah.
So we started walking. We walked from Mount Pleasant side to Andrew Road side. Nothing at all, right? And we were super pissed off. We were like, we just got scammed by our own teacher. We came here, we tried to see the Pontianak. There's no Pontianak. This is scam marketing. We are really upset, right? So when we were walking back, the 5 of us were so grumpy, and after a while we were just walking and we were like, you know what, screw this, we should get the ghost to come to us.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
And as we were walking, we started, like hurling vulgarities, really loud. And I was like, hey, Pontianak, come and get us, and say all this shit, right? And we were we were near the mosque already. I think if you go
Right.
there, the mosque is still there.
Yep.
So we were walking and we said all that, nothing. And as we were reaching the end of Gymkhana Avenue at Mount Pleasant Drive, we saw a dead miner on the floor. The intestines were all spilled out.
Good sign.
Yeah, I mean, and we were like, that was not there previously. Like, we would have seen a dead miner with intestines spilled out, right?
Yeah.
So my friend was like, oh my god, guys, it's working. Yeah. So he said, guys, it's working. We should do more of this. So he started shouting even louder. And all of us started shouting even louder. And yeah, and we did that, right? Yeah. So we walked, and as we were leaving, we were clearly not satisfied because we didn't see, we saw signs of it, but not the real ghost, right? And as we were leaving at the Mount Pleasant side, there's this small little path
Right.
that leads to the Muslim cemetery beside the mosque.
Yeah.
Yep.
So my friend said, guys, this is our moment of glory. We have to take this. So we went, and the path goes and it splits into 2 smaller paths. On the left, it leads to this woodland area. And
Okay.
if you go straight forward, it's the cemetery. So we took the left path and we went to the woodland area and we were walking. And the biggest guy among us, the heftiest guy, he was taking point and he was walking. And we were walking, and suddenly from the back of us, we heard something running in the grass towards us. And he was running, and we were like, do you hear that? Is it like footsteps or anything? And there was nothing. So we continued walking, and by this time, we were already about 150 meters in. And there was a tree, and on the tree, there were scratch marks. I don't know if it was cat, I don't know if it was like, tiger, jaguar, whatever, but there were scratch marks on the tree, right? And my friend said, guys, this is a sign we are in the right place. And then as he said that, the footsteps came running to us this time again. And it stopped about like a meter away from us. And all of us went silent. And we looked at that. And we were like, okay, this is it, right? So as we were walking away, we were saying that, okay, if we were to survive this, we need a strategy. Yeah.
Oh, now you thought this.
Because we were like, if all of us ran,
Yeah.
the point guy cannot be the biggest guy because he runs the slowest. We will leave him behind. Not good plan, right?
Okay.
So we were saying, all right. So for now, I will be. I was pretty small back then. Yeah. So I said, I will be the one leading the point, and the biggest guy will be the last guy.
All right.
So that if we run, we survive together, right?
That's
So then we were
noble.
walking out and we were like, let's go to the cemetery, which is the right path now. We took the right path and we went. And the cemetery has a small flight of stairs if you're going up, right?
Sorry, Mark. I just want to interrupt for a second.
Yeah.
So at this point, you saw dead bird,
Yes.
claw marks on the tree,
Yes, and running footsteps.
and running footsteps.
Yes. Yep.
And your plan at this point
Yes.
was to go to the cemetery.
Yes. Yeah.
Carry on.
I mean, we were 16.
Yeah, right.
and,
No,
and
that's
we
understandable.
really wanted to see a Pontianak.
Absolutely,
Right?
fair enough. Yes.
So we went and we were like, all right, guys, strategy, and the biggest guy took the back and we were walking and we climbed. So I was I was leading. And I went up the stairs really slow because I felt something was off already. And I was going up, then there were like a line of trees in the far background.
Right.
And there was, as I was walking up, I kept looking around. There wasn't anything much apart from this, shape in the trees. I was looking and I was just taking step by step up. And suddenly the shape, which was a triangle, flew across the sky.
Ooh.
And that was when I screamed. And I was like, guys, get the F out of here. And we turned and ran. But bad strategy because the biggest guy is the last guy now. He's blocking everyone. So nobody can run and everybody is stuck with him. And we were all like pushing him and he was running so slow. And we were like, his name is Joshua. So we were like, Joshua, you gotta run faster, So we were running and eventually all of us just ran past him. Just left him to die.
Great friends.
Yeah.
Wait, hang on. Just no spoilers, but Joshua is still alive, right?
He's still alive.
Okay.
Very much alive.
Because I thought this was going to take a really dark turn all of a sudden.
No, we're not friends anymore.
I wonder why.
Yeah, so as we were running out, we were gone, so we were outside at Mount Pleasant Road. We were all laughing and I was like, oh my God, this is the greatest. And fast forward to the next day, we went to school and we told our teacher, Mr. His name, right? And he said, sir, we went to Gymkhana Avenue yesterday. And he said, what? And it's like, yeah, and we totally saw the ghost you told us, the Pontianak you told us about. And he's like, you guys seriously went just because I told you that there's a ghost? And it's like, yeah, thank you so much. That's so awesome, man. And we told him everything. And then he just didn't say anything. He just kept silent. And he was like, okay. He walks off. About 5 seconds later, he walks back and he says, you cannot tell anyone that I told you guys to go to Gymkhana Avenue. Okay? Yep, so that's my story. Thanks.
Oh, good job. Thank you.
That was awesome.
So before we go for a 10-minute break, so I just want to add on to his story. Gymkhana, I just found out that Gymkhana Avenue was where we got stopped by the police. Not for crime reasons. Okay, so let me give you... Your story was 2004, right? So for our international audience, this whole stretch area, Mount Pleasant Road, Gymkhana Avenue, Andrews Avenue, they are all very, very near to one of the biggest cemetery outside of China, the Bukit Brown Cemetery, which is almost 100,000 graves, and some of them are 100 years old. So this like pre-Singapore, pre-independent Singapore old. So those places have a lot of history behind them, and it's very known to have kakats like Pontianaks lah. So there's a reason why, like I said, the mosque is built nearby, right? And there's also a temple nearby. So we went there as part of HANTU. He wasn't there.
Of course not.
He's a coward.
Yeah, I'm absolutely. He's not wrong. I'm a complete chicken.
I went there with one friend who drives, and he is spiritually very strong. And I went with a camera woman. So we went there to capture footages, like just creepy footages for horror series, our YouTube series. So not ghosts, just like lonely roads, very dark. About like 10, 11 p.m. We parked right at the intersection between Mount Pleasant Drive and Gymkhana Avenue. So I know of the bamboo thing that you spoke of. It's still there. So we just parked there. We set the camera up. We just shoot. We're just talking. Not more than 10 minutes, police show up. And then the police came. I remember it was a Indian staff sergeant and a young Chinese boy who was serving his NS. So they came out of the car, and then he straight away he said, "What are you guys doing here?" I say, "This YouTube video lah, bro. YouTube video. We're doing YouTube video, doing horror." He said, "Horror ah." First sign already. Horror ah. Okay. I see. So he screened us, and he say, "What horror channel?" Then I gave him everything lah. Then after that, he just looked at me. He said, "You know, you guys shouldn't be here." I said, "Why?" He said, "We're not breaking the law, one. Like we're just doing what, like we're just filming, like it's not against the law." He said, "No, it's not that. It's just that this place is not safe." So you could tell, like, you know, when someone is telling you, especially someone with authority, right? It's telling you that this place got ghosts, you know? Like, got ghosts. I cannot say, but got ghosts. Yeah. Then he just looked at me. I work here 25 years. I patrol here 25 years. I can tell you this place no good. I say, why no good? Then he knows that I'm trying to get a story out of him. Then he's like, yeah lah, just not good lah. Like the Gymkhana Avenue, this place, not good. Mount Pleasant. Then I say, Mount Pleasant, you see all the black and white houses? Like, you see all the black, because Mount Pleasant Road has a lot of colonial houses. I say, a lot of Ang Moh stay there what? They're fine what? They stay there every day, you know? They say, because they're Ang Moh. The ghosts will not attack them. They will attack you. Then that's when I got him to say it lah. Then he's like, anyway, not good. Yeah. So then they just left lah. Left us with this information. They just left. And then we were like, okay guys, so what do we do now? I said, faster. He already say not good. Police officer tell us not good lah. We faster go lah. But nothing happened lah because my friend's car was super blessed. So it's like a armored truck against ghosts. So we were fine. Outside I don't know lah. And my camera woman, she's an atheist. I think she got more balls than the both of us combined lah. So we were fine. Yeah, but to add on to your story that place is creepy, very creepy.
Before we go for the interval also, I just want to say two things. One, what's there's I don't know whether it's a rule or it's just, you know, things that people tell you you're not supposed to say her name at night.
Pontianak, yep.
Yeah, apparently you're not supposed to do what you just did.
But there's so many of us, so
okay, fine. I've got bad luck lah. If anything, I'll kena.
Okay, yeah.
So
Yep.
apparently you're not supposed to say her name at night.
Yep.
I found it quite interesting how when you said her name and then you started talking about swearing, the dog started barking. So
We'll come back with a story of kakak later.
circle back to that
with
later.
a dog. A story with a dog and kakak later. Okay.
Alright,
Guys,
so-
friends at home, 10 minutes, we'll be back.
10-minute interval. We'll be
Get
back.
your drinks, get your liquid courage and get your food, okay?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, how's everybody doing? Everyone?
Everybody drunk enough yet?
Everybody got enough liquid courage? So those of you who haven't told stories yet?
I got some. Yeah.
All right. We'll start first. Anybody with enough liquid courage, you can volunteer after Kyle's next story.
Not story yet. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I got some admin stuff to do. So because Audio Technica is technically sponsoring the giveaway for this event, so can do a bit of survey for us. Just yeah.
It will help the future event.
So the Chobu holding the iPad and just scan. Yeah, just help a bit. It's very simple information only. Thanks so much, guys. Yeah.
What's the posters?
No coasters.
No, just sure.
What? What?
The other man answer.
Oh.
Okay, everybody's getting right. Okay.
All right.
Just to let y'all know, so those of y'all who have already told the stories, you've received your little token.
Yep.
Small gesture. The gesture.
Yeah, you're not drunk yet.
I've only been drinking water. That's the worst part. Small gesture to thank you for sharing your stories with us. For anybody who's still on the fence about sharing your story, that beautiful poster on the fridge over there, that's the small little token that you guys will be receiving.
And, yeah. I think there's a few possible winners for the Audio Technica earphones.
Yes. All right. So while you guys are enjoying your drinks, enjoying your food, and warming up and doing your surveys, Kyle, would you like to tell the next story?
No, you shouldn't tell the story first.
Oh, don't tell story yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should start off with.
Okay, we warm up a bit.
We warm up a bit.
Warm up a bit.
So our favorite haunted spots in Southeast Asia.
All right. Anybody have any favorite haunted spots in Southeast Asia? I say favorite lah. I'm not talking about like, I love to go there all the time, but like the one that you've heard the most stories about.
Like Old Changi Hospital. Kovan.
Apparently
now got
Kovan's
Kovan. Yeah.
in the running for it as well.
I think Kovan quite haunted. Can fight with Yishun.
Wow, you damn bad, you. Wait, nobody here from Yishun, right?
Sorry.
We
We kid.
love you guys.
Yeah, we love you guys.
Yeah.
Actually, Yishun could be the most not haunted place.
The most
For all we
not
know,
haunted place.
for all we know, like Bedok Reservoir is pretty haunted.
Yeah.
Kovan, Changi is haunted. Pasir Ris, certain parts of Pasir Ris Park, yes.
I did have like a friend who moved here from the UK, and he said that apparently Singapore per square kilometer is the most haunted place in the world. Which, fair enough, but also we're so small, of course lah.
Yeah, two facts: World War II
Yeah.
and smallest country, one of the smallest country lah.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
we was waiting for that. We were waiting
We
for
had it
that.
on the list. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, Genting Highlands. Genting Highlands is very first world hot. Yeah.
Never been to Genting Islands. Now I don't
Our
want
Malaysian listeners will be damn happy, cause Malaysia represent right Genting Highlands. Yeah.
to. Has anybody here heard of Karak Highway? Karak Highway.
Karak Highway is like old Tampines Road on steroids.
Do you wanna? Okay.
Yeah. And Karak Highway is basically the road that you take from Kuala Lumpur all the way up towards Genting. So it's the small road. It's an old road
Okay.
that people take.
I'm gonna tell the Karak Highway, the famous Karak Highway story.
Yes.
Because apparently Karak Highway is known for its kakaks.
Kakaks, yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of
I'm
them.
not gonna say her name. I'm not that brave.
You scared already?
Yeah, it's the hangout area. So, Kyle, I know I'm gonna tell the story wrong.
Yeah.
So please
okay.
jump in when I get the facts wrong.
Sure.
So, there's a couple
1960s,
1960s,
Malaysia.
driving down Karak Highway. And they get to a tunnel. And in the tunnel, about halfway through the tunnel, their car breaks down. Car breaks down, right?
Yeah.
So far, so good. Stereotypical start to a horror movie. The husband gets out to check what's going on with the car. Opens the hood of the car and everything. And he's like, don't know what's going on. Meanwhile, the wife, and I think, to be fair, I think they had a kid as well. Like a
Baby.
little
Infant.
baby.
Yeah.
Little baby infant. Sat at the back of the car, just waiting. She's like, okay lah, let him handle it lah. I'll just out here. Bear in mind, this is late at night. She's probably tired. She can't be bothered to go out. Husband already so grumpy about going out to fix the car. Then she notices, like, lights from the back. Cops show up. And they're driving down. And they slow down as they get to her car. And the cops look scared. And they're looking over at her and they're like, they're not saying anything. They're just,
Yeah. No, they look scared
See, this is what I needed to-
as they were passing, and then they stopped like right across
yeah.
her car.
Yeah.
They got out, pulled out their pistols, and then they used the megaphone to say, "Slowly get out of the car with your hands on your head." Yeah. Get out of your car.
This is why I needed him to correct me.
And then they were like, "Whatever you do, don't look back. Just come towards us." So she's super confused. She's like, "I'm just waiting for my husband. Like, where's my husband?" So you want to finish the story?
I'm going to screw this up, but
Okay.
I'm going to try. So she comes out and she gets into the car with the police officers. And they keep telling her, just don't look back. Just don't look back.
Yep.
And she's like, why? And like, she's like, what about my husband? My husband's still out there. You want to put me in here? You cannot just put me in here without my husband and everything. And they're like, just trust us. Don't look back. And they start driving off.
Yep.
As they start driving off, naturally she looks back. I'm going to screw up this part, so you need to jump in so I don't screw it up too bad.
So depending on the version, it
Yeah.
could be on the car or two. As she reached the police officers, she turned back. She saw husband on the car itself, on the roof of the car, dead, and Kaka eating him,
just
like his guts,
ripping into his
his flesh bit by bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And depending on the version that the urban legend is, apparently there was one version where the police actually opened fire. Yeah. And then they tried to run.
I'm quite sure the
And
Malaysian
then there was
cops
another
told that
version where they got away.
Yeah lah.
So that is the story.
So yeah, that's one of those, like, I think I heard when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And like a bit of self-promotion down here, so that's kind of the reason why me and Carl started Ghost Maps. That's right. See, that's the reaction we should be getting for Ghost Maps. That's right.
Hi, man.
Well, you came late, but don't worry, we'll tell you about it a bit later. Sure.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's why we started Ghost Maps, because Carl and I heard these stories, I say when we were young, but like there's several years separating me and Carl. At least 1 decade. So we'll explain it before the next interval. So we heard all these stories when we were kids, and we heard, like, terrible older brothers would tell us this.
Yep.
While our parents are out, or like uncles, or like, friends and all that. And we kind of wanted to keep that kind of vibe alive, because we feel like nobody tells these kind of ghost stories as much anymore.
In front of a fire.
In front of a fire. Or a pumpkin.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why we started Ghost Maps. So that's a little bit of self-promotion on there. But now let's get back to our stories.
And to add on to Genting Highlands, right? Like the Karak Highway, there is another urban legend. I think it's kind of linked to the Kakak one. So whenever you see this is very specific, a yellow Beetle Volkswagen, you have to speed up. You must speed up, get away from the car, or let the car pass you. But never ever look into the car, because apparently the car is driven by ghosts.
Huh.
Karak Highway.
Yeah.
Towards Genting.
Yeah.
Yeah, yellow Beetle Volkswagen. You can Google it. It's on the internet. It's like
I don't know
urban legend.
which one of
Yeah.
Volkswagen's competitors came up with this, but
And for those, right, who are even more curious, tonight you can go home and Google. There is at least 3 Karak Highway films, horror films that's been made already. So they all have their own take on the Kaka and the Volkswagen.
the Kaka and the Volkswagen.
Yeah,
sounds like
Kaka and the
a great
Volkswagen.
movie.
Maybe the Kaka drive the Volkswagen. I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah.
She's got great taste. Alright.
Yeah.
Kyle, take it away.
Yeah, take away. Okay, so we're going to the next story. This next story is set in Bedok and Q Drive. Yeah,
Who lives? Bedok.
Bedok.
Okay, lah.
Oh yeah, very near. The story happened very near. Okay, so like Bedok has a very long what do you call that? Cycling.
Cycling path.
Cycling path, right? So you cut through the longkang, the big longkang, towards the new water facility.
Right.
Tanah Merah. Yeah, that whole area, right? Very haunted, by the way, sir. Yeah. So there was one night I was night cycling, right? As usual. 1 a.m. alone, just blasting music and just cycling for fun. And then I came across this particular area. It was from Bedok North side. So it was at the back of Bedok 85, that whole area. But it's still the same stretch. And then I passed by this house. This particular house is all the like landed property. And this house, overgrown grass, super dark, and like just
I assume
super
abandoned.
creepy. Yeah, but because you can see from afar, there was still some street light, so you can see from afar that this house is dark, right? And then as I passed by the car, I heard two sounds. I heard the grass move,
Right.
not from my bike, just the grass move. And then the next thing, you know, when you're cycling very fast, music is like a weird run.
Yeah.
Then I heard funeral music
From the house.
from the house, coming from the house. So either one, there was some fella playing funeral music in an abandoned house, or I met something.
Well, if it was a fella playing funeral music in the abandoned house,
Like Namo on. Yeah, but like it's like, you know, those CD for playback one that has music in the back. Yeah, so it was that. It was like I was super weirded out. So I cycled even faster, right? So I cycle all the way to Bedok Camp, that area, Bedok Camp.
yeah.
So Bedok Camp has this place called Q Drive, Q Crescent, Q Drive. This whole landed property, so a lot of slopes are very good to cycle. So I cycled towards this place where there's a very, very big kampong. Very big kampong house, like the old kampong house that's preserved. There's two of
Atap
them.
house.
Atap house,
Yeah.
yes. So I cycled towards that area and I wanted to turn in, then head towards Bedok South. That's when I smelled it. Very strong whiff of the flower smell.
Frangipani.
Frangipani. Very strong whiff, like in your face. Like 1 second you're like just smelling like nice air, then after that frangipani. So I immediately brake. Then I wait there for like 2 seconds. Then I look around. There's no flowers. The house, they don't have flowers, so it couldn't be flowers. And then I get this feeling that, you know, something is watching me lah. Then before I could react, right, there was a car turning out
Right.
from one of the houses with their high beam. So I immediately turned and I followed the car out. So I quickly cycled from the other way back home because I knew that was ghost lah. It was something dirty lah. Yeah.
That was a.
Goals,
I do like how technically, right, you kind of met. So it was the chanting was from what kind of funeral rites are we talking about?
Chinese.
Chinese funeral rites.
Very specific.
And then you
kind.
got the frangipani smell.
Yeah.
And it's nice and multi.
I don't know. It happened the same night, but I don't know if they were linked because it's so weird, right?
Well,
So
you
racial
know.
harmony lah, but it's so weird. Like it's so far, but at the same time it's also kind of
How far apart was the smell from the chanting?
at least a good 20 minutes by cycling. It's quite far because from north to technically east coast already.
Right.
And then years apart. So this was recent. So I met this guy at Bedok Corners market. So he sells chendol. He's quite a famous chendol shop. Yeah. Yeah, Ching Teng, the Ching Teng guy. And I told him about this story. Just random lah, just tell him about this story. They say, yeah, that place, right, a lot of kakak, a lot of ghosts. Yes. And then he said, I stayed there 50 years already. A lot of ghosts one. And then he told me, apparently, Q Drive, Q Crescent area used to be a cemetery.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. Very big Chinese cemetery, apparently. Only exhumed in the 90s. I went to dig the No, not literally dig.
No pun intended. No pun intended. We'll take it
Wrong
anyway.
choice of word. Yeah. So, and there is temple, a pretty big temple nearby also. So, yeah. And then now, right, I would like to invite someone up on the stage. Sam. Sam has a story. Give it up for Sam. Sam. Okay.
Serve the drinks first,
Okay, later we call Sam up. But Sam's
Okay, yeah.
story is linked to mine.
Alright.
My story happened about that story lah. Yeah, his is exactly at the same place, but 10 years apart for me.
Sequel. Yeah.
Prequel lah, prequel. King of Bedok Raja of Bedok.
That was the guy was the one in charge of trade
Yeah.
Okay.
between Singapore and Malaysia. He was
Alright.
his house is still preserved.
Yeah, they preserve. There's two of them. One is the caretaker or something, right? Yeah. So yeah, their place is creepy, man.
Well, it's clearly very well protected.
I always walk past at night. You try walking at night, then you will run faster.
Alright. Please.
Yes, please come up.
Hey, round of applause. We got a new story.
Yeah. So I was just sharing this story with my friends here,
Yeah.
and
So can I get your name, sir?
You don't have to. You don't have to give it. if you
John
don't.
Tan, okay.
John Tan. All right.
Right,
John
John
Tan. It
Tan.
is.
okay, because you were talking about dogs barking,
Yeah.
and I recall the incident. This was more than 10 years ago. So my friend, she's an outdoor adventure teacher, and
Right.
she was bringing a group of IT students to Ubin. I think Ubin is one of those hotspots, right? For all this
yeah.
stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Pulau Ubin.
Pulau Ubin.
Yeah.
So she needed a male to keep her company. Okay, and we went there with this group of students, and at night, right, they went for a night walk, and I was left to take care of the so-called base camp.
Right.
My wife, Jane Tan, and
Hi, Jin Tan.
so back then she was my girlfriend, and she gave me a call, and I had a chat with her, and you could hear a lot of dogs barking. And I told her that hey, somebody's radio was turned on as well. I didn't make much of it, and after that, the students came back with the teacher after a night walk, and we went to bed. And about 2-3 a.m., the teacher, or rather I heard this girl screaming and crying and what have you. So I told, hey, the teacher in charge, can you just bloody go out and look at what's happening now? Because, this girl is screaming and what have you.
Yeah.
And she said, no, I'm too scared. So I had to go out and check out what's happening with the students.
Right.
So apparently this girl was pinned down by some of the guys, and she was screaming as if she was possessed.
Right.
And she's Muslim, and the guys were praying for her. And I was like, okay, go ahead, whatever. And they were telling me, don't look at her. But I still kept looking at her. Because I don't believe in fairy tales, so. Yeah.
Oh, you're here for the wrong night, man.
Yeah. So after that, I went back to sleep. I said, can I go back to sleep? You guys can settle her, right? So when we were on a boat back to Singapore, she refused to look at me. She refused to have eye contact with me. And when we were back on mainland, so what I heard from the teacher was that night, right, when she was doing some reflection, I think these educators like do all this reflection shit. And apparently she heard music as well, and she thought it was some ghost singing. So when I had my chat over the phone with my girlfriend, then I was just telling her, it's just radio.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Regardless, I still don't believe in ghosts. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you. Give it up for John.
John, that makes your story even more impressive. The fact that you don't believe, but you still had the story anyway. So yeah, very nice. It was a solid PG-13 storytelling.
Very, very good. Very good. Very good.
The live stream will not be digitized. Excellent.
I have a question also.
Sure.
Can I ask one?
Yeah, sure.
So we all know 7 months, right?
Everybody here knows the 7th month, yes? Yeah.
Apparently there's a lot of ghosts that will come visit us during 7 months, right? But the thing, right, is because we start all this shit, all this praying and all that, right? Yeah, actually invite the ghosts. It should be the other way around, right?
So
Just
your question is, are they coming because we invited them, or they're coming and then they expect to be? Huh.
It's supposed to open one day of the year, one of the year. Regardless of whether we had a thing or
we are the
not.
ones who decided, hey, 7 months, let's attract the ghosts.
It could be. Yeah. It's like a chicken and egg thing, right? The gate open first, or we them first?
Or in this case, Hantu and human thing lah.
Yeah, like we.
Which came first?
The gate open first, or
Yeah
we
lah.
invite them first. I'm trying to believe that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Or Bidadari.
I don't have any.
I don't have I don't have a ghost stories, but I have experience at Bidadari lah. What's left of Bidadari at least?
When you say experience.
Not that scary lah.
Okay.
But still, yeah, my level of scary is different lah.
That's true. Okay, we have a palate cleanser, not so scary story.
Okay, okay. So as the lady asked, so for Bidadari, sorry,
Too near for comfort.
too near for comfort. Bidadari roughly translates to ferry in
It's
Bahasa.
okay lah. One train station away still can.
So Bidadari is used to be a cemetery, a Christian and Muslim cemetery. Am I right? Right.
I think so. Yeah.
So it's very near. There is a Gurkha contingent camp right down the road. So
Yep.
Gurkha are like the elite soldiers that exist in a lot of countries. Singapore also have them. So this story is not mine. It's for my dad. But apparently, my dad who used to his camp was just right beside the Gurkha contingent, the police force. So he said, last time there was supposed to be only one sentry guard at night. Then it turned into two, because apparently supernatural reasons. So there was a basketball court right outside the camp that was facing the cemetery. I don't know why they did that lah. Quite arang lah. So apparently, when as sentries, they will have to stand outside the guardhouse, and they will see ball bouncing. So it's your job to go and investigate lah. So they will just walk across the road, see what's that, and apparently it's a hit that's bouncing. Yeah. So bounce left to right. So there were quite a few recruits that fainted lah. So my dad being garang, right? Like you lah, not scared one.
Like who?
Like this gentleman lah, John.
Oh, okay.
Not scared.
I thought you were talking to me. I was like, you
No,
must have the wrong person.
Definitely not you.
Yeah, thank you.
So he would purposely take the night shift alone, and then he walk to the basketball and just wait. You just wait for the spirit. Wait. Nothing will happen to him lah. Maybe the ghost know, or maybe there is no ghost. I don't know. So yes, the story.
Yeah, some
And then my own experience, I actually went there to go and see. Like the whole is literally just right next to the columbarium, the whole area. And I was making a documentary in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Bidadari was already exhumed. No more cemeteries. But very peaceful. But there's two parts, you know. There's the one part that is nearer to the Woodlake MRT station, which is, I believe, was the Christian side, right? And then there was another side which is closer to the Gurkha contingent, which is the Muslim side. I always got, and I went there in the afternoon, so like 4 p.m. that dark. But I always got a creepy feeling when I was there. And back then I didn't know there was a cemetery. I just thought that it was a woodland, so I just went there to film. And then you will see like joggers lah, people who stay around the area, they will just go there and jog. So I always got that like feeling. Then I remember meeting a jogger and asked, why nobody jog here? Why everybody like to jog like at the more people side? He said, yeah, because this one used to be Muslim cemetery, and here got a lot of kakak one. I was like, then why are you here? He said, because I'm not scared. Yeah.
Or he really wanted to train himself. See how fast he can run.
Or he was the kakak.
Fair.
Just kidding.
They're gonna train somehow.
Yeah, so that's a very, very short story.
Alright.
Okay, so can we get Sam to tell his story already?
Sam? The dream. There we go.
Hey,
Sam, where are you going, Sam?
he getting himself.
Okay,
courage.
gotta get some courage first
Okay,
to tell his
so
story.
everyone, friends home as well. Set the context. Sam is the one who is in charge of the drinks tonight, who gave us fantastic drinks tonight, all ghost themed drinks. He and I, just the story that I shared, he had a similar experience, but even more real life, 10 years ago from mine. Yeah, so now he's gonna share.
Sam, he set expectations very high already.
Hello, everybody. My name is Sam.
Okay, come. Hi.
I'm the one who is gonna scold you when you're very naughty at my outlet. So anyway, this probably maybe 15 years ago.
Yeah.
15, 16 years ago. No, actually no. When I was 16, so about 22 years ago. Right. And this was when CS was still very, very popular. And everybody wanted to learn how to play CS, right? Counter-Strike. Yeah, it's a game. It's a computer game that everybody wanted to learn how to play. And so a friend of mine called and said like, "Hey Sam, can you teach me how to play CS?" I was like, "Sure, why not?" So went over to his place, but he said like, "Before you reach my place, right, you must give me a call because no one will open the door for you except for me." I'm like, "Okay, sure." And then this was when I was still with my mom, and my mom was like, "Oh, so late already, cannot. I send you in." And this is like, where's this place again?
Q Drive.
Q Drive, right? I was sent all the way in. He lived in third floor. The Bedok camp there, I think. Is it called Bedok camp? Yeah, Bedok camp there. Oh no. And so I started throwing slippers at this guy's window because he's staying at the third floor. Try, and like, and I couldn't get his attention, so I had to walk out to make a phone call. And then when I was walking back in, I just had this really strange feeling that somebody or something was staring or looking at me. And you know when you are getting stared upon, you will have this really weird feeling somebody's just looking at you, right? Yeah. And so I just looked around, and I was like, nothing. And then I was never mind. Sorry, can I use vulgarities?
Try not to. Try not to.
Fudge.
Fudge.
Right? Just walking, but this feeling just grew stronger. I just looked around and for some reason I decided to raise my head instead of just looking around, and I saw this white figure. Till today, I still tell people there didn't have a face. It was just a figure, but you could tell that this figure was on a branch, a very big branch, and then was holding onto the tree, and then just looking at me. The young me just really didn't know what to do, and all I could do was to run. So like ran, and then don't know why the stupid me decided to stop, then look back. And when I looked back, the thing just boom was right in front of me. So of course, what happened? We hugged, scream. 2 hours later, I don't know what happened. Within that period of time, 2 hours, I didn't know what happened. So after which, when I woke up, I fainted. I woke up, was Jintua.
Temple.
Not a temple, but some
Temple
house.
spiritual
that
house.
has like a lot of like idols and everything. Then I was Uncle is like, why am I at your place? I was like, oh, just now all I hear was you went then we saw you just and then you were like, we probably saw something. You saw Kaka, huh? I was like, yeah, damn scary. But you know what's the scariest thing is that when that thing appeared in front of me, right, there was still no features. You could just see through it, but you know there was something right in front of you. And then just after which I went to my friend's place. I said, hey, 2 hours ago you were gonna come to my house, right? Like, I think I saw a ghost. Then how? I don't know. What do we do? Play CS. Let's go. So then, that's about it.
Nice. Well done. Great story, Sam. Yeah, his story we actually adapted into one of our latest episode, right?
Yeah, one of the latest episodes of Ghost Maps.
So
my favorite part of that story, and I told Carl this was, I like how after you fainted, woke up, was told that you saw a kaka, or you said that you saw a kaka, immediately after that, your plan was not to go home, but go to your friend's place to play Counter-Strike.
To be fair to him, right, he was playing the CS to get rid of the fear.
No, that's...
If not, he have to go home, you know.
Sure, that's fair. I would go home, but whatever works, man. Whatever works.
Yep. Yeah, CS is important. It is important.
Big CS fans over there, I think. Thanks again, Sam. All right. Floor still open. Anybody have any ghost stories they want to share? Because if not, I'm gonna end up talking again. Ma'am.
Yeah.
All right, welcome up.
Hello,
Hi, would you like to share your name with us?
Jane Doe.
Jane.
Jane Doe.
A lot of Janes here
Yeah,
tonight.
today a lot of
James.
Janes.
Okay,
Kaka Jane, okay.
my name is Kaka.
Okay.
Okay, so my story is a little bit two-faced.
All right.
I work and at home basically. So I used to work in a club. I don't think I'll name the club. It's a pretty famous in Singapore that isn't there anymore, but it's somewhere else. I didn't say anything.
She did not say that. She did not say
didn't
that.
say that.
Speculation.
Yeah, so I worked as a light jockey, meaning that I would like operate the lights while everyone was having fun, partying,
Right.
and all that. And obviously, you work 3 times a week, right?
Yeah.
For the party nights. And there were a couple of incidents where I was in the R&B room, where then the DJ just kept kind of like looking at me from the corner of my eyes. I can see that he's like looking at me. He just keeps turning to look at me. So after a while, I mean, I'm just stationed there doing my job, right?
Yeah.
And after a while, I think I noticed this happened a few nights. Eventually, I think it's a bit iron and irritated. I'm like, why keep staring? And then he said, nothing. I just keep seeing this like figure behind you from the corner of my eye. But then when I turn to look at you, I don't see anything behind you. So then that kind of creeped me out. Immediately I tell my manager, like, yo, I don't want to work in the R&B room. Can you put me in a different room? So at the time, actually, the club also provided transport
Okay.
for you to go home around like 4 or 5 p.m. And this was around the same time that strange things started happening in my HDB. I was living with my mom at the time at Teluk Blangah. And
Okay.
yeah, Teluk Blangah Heights to be specific. So that's like, you know, a very dark area opposite the park and everything. And I was living on I think the highest floor. And it always happened that when I would get into the lift, right, strange things starts happening. Like obviously it's late, there's nobody,
Yeah.
and I go into the lift, I press the level that I'm going to, and then the door tries to close, but it goes like zoom. It jams as if someone is there, and then it open again. And the first few times this happened, I was like scared. Kept jamming on the close button.
Yeah.
But do it a few times over, like zung, zung, and the door would never close. Until I got really angry, right? I started to like shout, like, fuck, like, what's this? Like, leave me alone or something. And the door then closed. I went up to my level. When the door opened again, right, there was actually a jingle from the lift. It sounded like I can still remember the jingle, but I'm not gonna sing it. It sounded like a school bell almost, but not in the school bell way. Just a sound that the lift would make in a melody.
Right.
And I was actually very shocked I couldn't move because I didn't know if I was hearing things or it actually came from the lift. So I just ran home. And I went to the last unit, the corner unit, hands were shaking, keys couldn't go into the hole, like, I just want to go home and sleep. And that was the first time I experienced it. Then subsequently, I would go to the club and I would work and I would still be posted in the R&B room because my manager didn't actually think that there was anything to be scared of.
Fair enough.
And in fact, she told the DJ, can you stop scaring my girls? Don't go tell them nonsense because now they don't want to work here. And it was also around the same time, there was rumor that I heard within the club that there was a bouncer that saw something on the cameras. So naturally, I went around to look for this bouncer, right? And I'm like, hey, Abang, can you tell me like what you saw? And do you have the footage or something? Then he took his phone and he showed it to me. So this one is not just like a hearsay. I actually saw the video on his phone. He actually so in the day, right, the club's actually open because the office has, people working, doing marketing and all that. But the club is essentially closed. All the lights are on, the dance floor is empty and no one is actually in the area. And he's actually just in this security room and he has a footage of his phone like taking pictures of the camera, right, the TV. And there was like last time the resolution not very good, so it's a bit like shaky that kind. How many frames per second, that type lah. So eventually he showed me, right, and you can see like a very blurry figurine kind of like crawling on the floor towards the shelf at the corner of the bar, like like a long shelf there.
Yeah.
And that was actually right next to the booth where I was like stationed next to the DJ. So it creeped me out even more because all these things started to line up, right? Like DJ was seeing a figure behind me, me going home and feeling like something is following me home, and then also seeing this in the camera and all that. So again, I went to my manager. I was like, please, please, please put me in like the house room or something. I just don't want to be in this room. I'm really scared. And she eventually did put me there. But following that, I think after that, when I went home a few more times, it happened. And it was every night that I would go home, the lift jingle would play, the door would jam, and I try and not scare myself. You know, sometimes when you watch On and things like that, and the HDB lift close, and as you go up, you see that preview window, and you're like, is something gonna show up? And you know you shouldn't be looking. I'm like just looking, like, is something gonna show up? In a sense, you're like scared, but you're also kind of anticipating for something to happen. So gradually, as it happened more, I got used to it. And I wasn't scared, but it did happen for about a month or so. Like this whole thing happened weekly for a month until the jingle was, that's why I can still remember it, because it's very, it happened frequently. And then it gradually just stopped when I got posted to like the other room, and I stopped being in the R&B room.
So the jingle never happened any other time you would take a look?
Randomly, sometimes it does. But
Can you hum the jingle?
it's like, it sounds like a school bell. It's like dun 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 dun. And lifts don't make that noise, right?
Yeah.
And I really think, I thought it was like, you know, a late night servicing reset type of song. And I always thought that lifts do that. So I went to ask my friends, like, hey, your lift got do this maybe this song or not? Like, no, I don't have. And that's when I'm like, okay, something is off.
But at other times of the day, isn't it?
No, it's always late at night, and it's always after my shifts. So, and I asked my sister also, I asked my mom, like, Mommy, you got hear anything? Don't have. And it's always just like, it feels like it's only happened to me, so I don't know if anyone else has experienced it.
When you're working in Zoo, was the fountain still there?
Right.
Are you not there?
Speculative.
It's
Not
wow.
mentioning the name.
Yeah.
Could have been MOS. Yeah, could have been a Siam Tiu.
So I worked as a waiter in Zoo when it first opened. So there was a fountain in the main dance floor, in the middle of the dance floor.
Yeah.
It was water spouting. Then because I was so junior, but I heard a lot of people say that during sometimes when the DJ rooftop, they see shadows dancing on the fountain. Yeah, that's the reason why we removed the water and turned it into a big structure.
I mean, when I was working there was no fountain, so I think maybe different generation.
When you were working at this club, that may or may not have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, fair enough.
But it's also a place with lots of history, right?
Yeah,
No
it's true.
windows, dark, warehouse. Could have been MOS also.
Could have been.
Could have been.
Yeah,
Alright.
so that's my story.
Awesome.
Thank you, Kakak.
Thank you so much, Kak. I don't even know what time it is. What time is it now? We want to do one more story before we do our last interval of the night?
Yeah. Oh, there's someone. Lai.
Do we have volunteers? Oh, alright.
Thank you. Hello, welcome.
Hi.
Can I get your name, please?
My name is Per. Every time I tell this story to my friends, it's like re-traumatizing myself.
Okay.
It's okay, we're all friends.
I
here, so
think it's
fine.
an okay story, but they tell me that it's quite scary. But so this happened to me when I was a child, around 11 or 12 years old.
Right.
And I went to Japan on a family vacation. So it was my brother, my mom, my dad, and then my auntie who lives in Japan. And my dad's vegetarian, so my auntie did a nice thing and said, you know, hey, let's go stay in an inn.
All right.
And that inn serves like just very nice tofu only dishes, you know, specialty just for my dad. So we went about our day, you know, did all the tourist stuff, and then in the middle of the night we would we slept there, of course, and then very strangely on one of the nights I could hear people outside. So this inn was very old school. You could hear when people walked on the wood panels.
Yeah.
You kind of like, it was like a duk, duk, duk. Every time people would walk, you could hear it very clearly. So the inn was kind of small. maybe about like 7 rooms in it, 3 on the other side, and we were in the bigger room because we had 5 people. And at night, when we were asleep, I could just hear people like running up and down the corridor. It was just a middle panel where you could just run down, and then at the end it's like the toilet. So at first I thought it was somebody just, urgent run out and out of the toilet, got a stomach ache or something. But then on one of the nights, it just felt very strange. I would ask my mom, hey, do you hear that?
Right.
And then she said, no, I mean, it could be anything, right? So, okay, fine. I fell asleep. And then in the middle of the night, when I slept, right? When I slept, I would, because I was already scared and I was a kid, I would put my blanket up to here. So up to my nose. And then when on that night, the door actually opened. And the moment the door opened, right, I just sensed that something was really strange. It was wrong because all of my family members are already asleep in the room.
Right.
It's pretty late at night. I heard the usual like running up and down of footsteps. And then there's a person who opens the door. And immediately I'm very terrified. I'm just like, okay, there's something wrong. So immediately I pull my blanket up over my head, hoping that this whatever would just not notice and leave us alone after a while. But, I don't know how I could sense it, but this thing or this person, it felt like female energy, would walk across the room, and then she would stand in front of each of my family members and just look down at us and watch. And then first it was my dad, and then my brother, and then my mom, and then she came to me, and then I thought, okay, she's just gonna look and not do anything and go away. But then suddenly I feel like there's somebody like lying down next to me. And sometimes you just feel like, Sam mentioned earlier that, you can feel when somebody's looking at you.
Yeah.
And with my blanket up here, I just felt like there was this person to my left, just curled up and like just looking, can't hear any breathing, just, I don't know, just quiet. And then I was so scared that like started reciting the Lord's Prayer like so many times in my heart. And the thing going on in my head is like, okay, don't let whatever is here like know that they're there, because I've been told before, don't let them know they are there. They won't disturb you. After a while, they go away. And then it felt like forever. And then this thing, after a while, stood up and then looked at my aunt, and then they left the room. And me being very scared, I was just like, okay, I'm going to reach out to my mom and then wake her up. She's quite a light sleeper. I held her hand actually. And then she didn't wake up. And I was like, Mom, because I wanted to confide in her and tell her, do you go through that? But she didn't wake up at all. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to try and go to sleep. And I think after that, I felt very tired. So yeah, I managed to fall asleep. And then about 4 or 5 a.m., there was suddenly, the next room had a lady and a baby.
Right.
And then during that time, she was screaming really loudly and for very long. And we didn't know. And this time, I knew that was real because my mom woke up as well. And her baby started crying. And basically inconsolable. It was very strange. Everybody woke up after it went on for a while. And then we're just like, okay, something is strange, but never mind, let's just ignore it for now. And then, after that, nothing else happened, thank goodness.
Yeah.
But, later on I found out, I don't know if it has anything to do with that, but we found out that this inn was placed near a shrine, and usually shrines are close to cemeteries where they bury a lot of people. And I mean, for me, like a lot of the details in my head, it felt so real and it was so terrifying that sometimes I wonder, was it a night terror? Did it happen to me? Or even worse, was it actually like a real person that came in and harassed us, which I think is scarier actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was just like one of the more intense experiences that we had, that I had, and it just feels like, because I was a kid and like my mom wouldn't wake up, like nobody really would believe me. So sometimes I like gaslight myself into thinking, oh, did I just dream it? But it felt like super real to me. So
like immediately your response like, that can't be, right? But
but just like how do I remember that in such detail if it wasn't real?
Two details I need to ask. You said it was an inn, right?
Yeah.
Was it one of those sliding doors one?
Yes.
Oh my god.
So paper doors. That's why when the woman screamed, we could hear her very clearly. And also why we could hear like why there was running up and down outside. Yeah, the corridor.
Second detail.
Yeah.
Which part of Japan?
Ooh, I think it was in Kyoto.
Kyoto.
Yeah.
Oh. So you want to go find ghosts? I go Kyoto. Kyoto. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my story.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Very creepy.
I hope that wasn't like too re-triggering for you, was it? Okay, good. A lot of people here should be fine. All right.
Before we go on our next interval, we, as promised, we should tell the story that involves barking.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's two point of view. So you start with your point of view. It's both of us.
It happened to both of us.
This year.
Yeah. So at this point, we already been doing ghost maps for like 3 years now. 3 years, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Time, pandemic, whatever. So 3 years now we've been doing ghost maps, and Kyle always told me, they listen in, right? I was like, our fans? And he's like, yes, our fans from here, but also from the beyond.
Yep.
I was like, oh, okay, well, I hope they like the show. And he went, yeah, as long as we treat them respectfully, it should be fine. So we were having our birthday barbecue, actually. Carl and I, our birthday is very close, so it's quite sweet that we celebrate our birthdays together. We were having our birthday barbecue at Changi Beach.
Yep.
And
a nice barbecue pizza.
you make a wild guess which one of us was the one that chose Changi Beach, lah. So, yeah. Kyle normally, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kyle normally carries an amulet with him, a protective amulet.
When I go to haunted areas.
When he goes to haunted areas. Yeah. So naturally he probably would have brought it this time round, but
I was stubborn.
He's stubborn and he didn't bring it this time round.
I'm usually the designated barbecue guy.
Yeah, he is.
So I don't want to be all sweaty with the amulet.
Yeah. He's very... Yes.
Stubbornness, yes.
Very, very good at the barbecue, I have to say. So we were all having the barbecue, having a good time and everything. And a couple of us needed to go to the washroom. And the washroom's like a couple of minutes walk away. So we decided, okay, let's all of us, just a couple of us just go at the same time. And one of our friends was like, hey, go walk my dog as well. So I hooked the leash and I clearly didn't hook it properly. But it was fine. And then we kept walking. And as we got closer to the washroom, now, a little bit of backstory. Kyle likes to joke with this dog a lot.
Joke only.
The joke that Kyle he'll go up to the dog, a very cute dog, and he'll go up to the dog, it's like, I'm going to put you in the oven. Who's going to be dessert today? I've never heard Kyle say anything genuinely nice to the dog prior to this day.
Yep.
So as we're getting closer to the washroom, it's a very well-trained dog, it's a very well-behaved dog. But it suddenly turns to this tree.
Big tree.
Yeah. There's nothing else around the tree. I think like a bit further down there's like
it's the sea.
Yeah, beyond the tree is the sea and like a couple of people camping nearby, but not at the tree itself. And this is like 8 o'clock?
No, this was like close to 10.
Close to 10, okay. And this dog that's normally quite quiet and well behaved starts barking. like wildly at
Yeah.
the tree. And the dog starts running forward and the leash lets go. So naturally I freak out. I'm like, I'm not gonna let dog run to the ocean. Jump and I grab the dog. And I bring dog back. And as I'm holding dog, she's still barking at the tree. Like viciously, angrily barking at the tree. Kyle was in front of me at this point in time. I was at the back, everybody else was like walking a bit further in front. And Kyle hears, correct me if I'm wrong, but Kyle hears the sound of me going, boom, as I drop and try to catch the dog.
He fell.
Yeah.
To catch the dog.
Very glamorous. And he turns around and he comes back. And for the first time since my friend got the dog, I hear Kyle. I swear that wasn't planned.
That was not planned.
That was not planned. Wonderful timing though. I'm gonna pretend that Sam purposely did. As Kyle reaches there, for the first time ever since we've met this dog, Kyle says,
I say it's okay.
He starts consoling the dog. It's okay. It's okay.
I sayang the dog a bit.
And that's the point in time where I freaked out. Because it had to be serious for Kyle to suddenly be nice to the dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, was that? That would have been slightly less scary, honestly. So we went to the washroom and everything, and we head back to the barbecue pit.
We didn't say anything to each other.
We didn't say anything to each other. I just went, In my head, I was like, okay. Kyle's being nice, something's wrong. But we just kept quiet, because we figured, okay, just keep quiet. And then we just continued walking, went to the washroom, came back, and you will fill in the blanks in between later on, I guess.
Yeah.
But we came back and then had the barbecue, continued having the barbecue, and then we went back, like, I think
3 a.m.
3 in the morning. As I get back with my fiancée to our flat, I message Carl. First of all, that dog's timing is fantastic. We're including him or her in future episodes of Ghost Maps. As we get back, she said okay. Yes. We'll get her talent release form later on. As I get back, I message Carl. I was like, "You felt something or so, right?"
Yeah.
And
I never replied.
yeah, because I knew why he didn't reply. I just had to ask, but I knew why he didn't reply. And he's probably thinking like, Wayne, shut up lah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So from my perspective, right, it started at about 7, 8 when the sun went down. So the barbecue pit was a bit further, like maybe from here, the barbecue pit, the table is there. They're all gathering here. So I'm just like barbecuing. My back face to them. Then it's underneath this big tree. Then I think he had like one of those like lime things.
Yeah.
So I had this feeling. I had the feeling lah. Yeah. I don't know how to explain. I have that feeling, you know. But I don't care lah. I just barbecue my food. I don't care. Then the lime thing started dropping on my head. Not one, you know. Like it's almost like someone throwing.
Yeah.
It's like one of those. Yeah. It looks like lime lah. Like I don't know what fruit was that lah. So it's dropped on my head.
It's almost
one.
like not but
one. Never mind.
Right.
2, 3, 4. Not in that sequence lah. Like from time to time lah. Then I fed up. I take the LED that I shine the tree. I know I shouldn't lah, but I got fed out lah. I shine. Yeah, nothing happened. I don't care. Then there were a few times that the dog barked to thin air.
Yeah.
For no reason. Like 9-ish, 8-ish, nobody there. She barked while we were like just hanging out.
Yeah.
He noticed this and I noticed this. So I don't care lah. Then when we go to the toilet, I just wanted to go to the toilet lah.
Yeah.
So as the fast forward to his story, when the dog started barking, I heard already. I was walking ahead. I was actually quite far from them. But I can hear the dog barking. So I would stop, wait for them to walk towards me. Then I had the feeling that, it could be supernatural. Because there was this big tree right beside.
Yeah.
And then there's the sea. And tonight, full moon.
All odds in our favor.
All odds in our favor.
Yeah.
Then
So,
the moment I heard, BAM! This guy fall down from saving the dog. Because if not, the dog will probably run towards the big tree, then to the sea.
Yeah.
And it's all darkness, you can't see anything. So,
the weird.
yeah. Then after that, so I did what I could lah, calm the dog down. I think I can calm the dog down lah. So I think the dog not so agitated after that.
Yeah, he's like a Disney princess. He can talk to animals.
So after that, we went back home. The moment he texted me, I saw.
Yeah.
In my mind, I was thinking whether should I text him or not. I was like, don't know. At night, don't text. 3 a.m. some more. Don't text. But I saw the message. It's like, okay, go shower, then go sleep. Then the next day, the text says, it's not a rat, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the official story we told our friends. It's a rat. I think I said it.
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
probably saw a rat. Then he went with it. He said, yeah, saw a rat. Then everybody said, oh yeah, rat. But we knew that it wasn't a rat.
Yeah.
And then I got excited. The next day I got excited. I said, got story got ghost story to tell. Then both of us some more. Good this one. The dog gave us a story.
Excellent branding.
Excellent branding. Yeah, so that was it.
I think to wrap it up, I think the weird thing was that when it happened, neither of us was scared. And
we were calm.
We were calm, and like I always told them, like, I hope they like the show. And weirdly enough, at that point in time, I was like, I guess they like the show. They came to say hi.
Yeah.
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 So that was our So the dogs barking randomly, yeah. That happens quite a bit.
Later the dog will bark again.
I'm sure. That dog has excellent timing. Whoever's dog that is.
Very good pacing. The dog.
Timing.
Very good. Very good.
All right, we're gonna do one last 10-minute interval. Then we'll be back for the last
1 hour segment.
less than an hour.
Yeah.
This has been going by really fast.
Yep.
But yeah, thanks,
5
guys.
minutes. We'll be back in 5 minutes.
5 minutes. everyone doing? How's everybody doing tonight?
I think there's still a few of them.
Still a few people who haven't run out screaming, frightened at all the stories yet. All right, nicely done. All right, for this last hour, again, just want to open up and start asking, like, what are your thoughts?
I think I won't open up. I want to arrow someone.
Oh, you want to arrow someone?
Yeah, there's another podcaster in the house tonight.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, his name is Guanjin. Guanjin, please come up.
Hello, Guangjin.
Hi.
So you know the deal, please don't make any mistake on the mic.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Keep
Good distance, yeah.
Yes, yes.
Maybe introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Guangjin, and knowing the name is important for the story later, lah.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And what kind of podcast do you do, Guanjin?
Oh wow! Hey, thank you for giving me a chance to
Yeah.
publicize.
Like?
So there's this podcast that we produce. It's called Heinous, an Asian true crime podcast.
Crime
Yes,
and horror. So
yeah,
this one is before.
Haters fans, come on!
Wow.
Heinous is before, then this is after because you cannot murder
Yeah.
this now. Hantu.
Very good pairing.
You're
Yeah.
right. You're right. You're right.
Later you
wanna,
give me the ang pao later.
you want to see the ghosts that are alive and walk around amongst us?
Yeah.
Please tune in to Heinous.
Yep. Okay, ghost stories.
Okay, so right, like among my group of friends, will always say that, you're a non-believer until something makes you believe.
Yeah.
And for me, right, I was also from SJI, and I think from a Christian brother school, you always hear all these kind of stories and people being possessed, and you don't really or at least I've never seen it. So then I'm not really convinced. Then I went to Pulau Tekong in the army.
It's a good start.
Yep.
Yeah.
So for the, I guess, international fans, in the army, right, sometimes in this island in Singapore, they will make you dig something called a shell scrape.
Yep.
Which is like a bed that you dig so that you can sleep inside. So we will dig that bed and then we'll sleep inside. And they'll post us, right, in such a way that we will defend the perimeter of where we are posted at. And my friend and I, right, we happened to be very far away from everyone else when we were posted. So what happened, right, is when I was very far, and this I think is probably maybe it's 11 p.m.
Yep.
Then I tried to sleep. And you know, when you sleep in the forest, you can hear a lot of sounds.
Yeah.
You can hear sounds of crickets, you can hear sounds of different things. And then you can also hear sounds in the forest. And my superior always used to tell me that there's, you can tell when there's an animal, and you can tell when it isn't an animal.
Right.
So just sleep when it isn't an animal. And I'm always like, this kind of thing, talk one lah. So I just over there lying down, right, trying to sleep. And then I heard this sound in the forest. And it sounds not like a wild boar, there's no weird deep breathing. But then the sound sounds a bit frantic.
Right.
Like quite scared. Then I kind of opened my eye a small bit to do a bit of a safety check. I opened my eye to kind of look. Then I could see in the forest there was a bit of a silhouette. Then I heard this voice that goes, Psst, Guangjin. Then I was like, whoa, holy, the guy knows me. Then I was like, okay, maybe
You sound
it's
so honored by that.
Yeah. I was like, wow, wow. I can't believe it. People know me. Then I was over there and I was like, okay maybe it's nothing much. Your mind goes wild.
Yeah.
Then I hear oi, Guangjin. Then I was like, actually it sounds a bit like my friend. Then I turned over to the shell scrape beside me where my friend was supposed to be sleeping. And my friend wasn't there. So then I was like, this is so weird. So then I stood up and I looked. Then I shined a bit of the torchlight. And I saw my friend in the forest. And he was like, wow, bro. Wow, thank God. Then I was like, whoa, what are you doing there? And honestly, I think my friend's a bit not too smart why would he be in the forest, right? In the middle of the jungle. Then I was like, what are you doing? You can just easily sleep, right? Then he sat down in my shell scrape and he said, bro, you won't believe this story that I'm about to tell you. So then, right, I was like, wow, okay, let's go. So he said that somewhere in the middle of the night when he was asleep, he dreamt of this girl. Then this girl went to him and said, come, follow me. And then she like stick out her hand, right? Then he was like, yeah, okay, let me hold the hand.
Fair enough.
So he said he held the hand. He held the hand and then followed the girl. And I was like, wow, this guy a bit creep, like, you know.
Army boy lah, army boy.
Come on, man.
I'm glad you were
like-
thinking it as well.
I'm like, wow, come on lah. It's a little girl in the forest.
Oh, little
dark
girl.
at
Okay,
night.
little
That
girl.
makes it worse.
Right,
That one worse, that one.
Correct. It's not very appropriate. So then my perception of him a bit like went down lah. But anyway, he was saying, yeah. Then I follow this girl. Then I was like, whoa, okay. Then he said, and I follow her. Then she let go of my hand. Then I stopped. And then I woke up in the middle of the forest. Then I was like, so then what happened? And he said he spent like the last few minutes trying to get back. And I was like, okay lah, I think, I don't know. I mean, this guy's story is a bit weird. Can't say that it's true. And everything that I'm saying is like, I'm more of a witness, not a victim.
Yeah.
Then I was like, okay lah, like whatever. Anyway, bro, let's just sleep lah. Enough of your little girl story. Anyway, he went to sleep, right? And the next day morning, when we woke up, there were 5 people in different parts of the forest. And when they came back, they said that they had the exact same dream. Yeah, man. That's when I knew.
So including your friend, 6 people dream of little girls.
Yeah.
Bringing them into forest.
Correct. And it could be the same girl. So I don't know how she
it could be.
stagger it lah, but like she essentially she bring them all lah. Yeah. But wow. Shit.
But they woke up lying on the forest floor or standing?
No, it's
Just like,
yeah. It's
Wow.
just the same story that the girl bring them to some part of the forest. Then they wake up, man. And I was like, whoa. Damn.
So wait, when the girl brings them to the forest, what happens to the girl after they wake up? They
just run away and let go of their hand. Wow, the hardest part is letting go. Huh.
I like the wave of laughter.
right, like
for that one.
there was a pause.
Stuff lah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my friend. Yeah. And then I was like, whoa, I guess this story is real since I guess I'm not into little girls. That's the
Oh!
That's
Nice. That's a good way to end.
Yep.
Give it up for Guanjin. Thank you.
everybody.
So I think Sam has more stories to tell.
Where is it?
Sam is on. Hey, he's waiting.
Aiyo.
Can.
Rampage, Dota 2, let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
TI.
Vengeful spirit.
Oh, wow.
So, Sam, you had experience with seeing spirits, right?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe you want to share one.
So I think if you all have been watching their channel, there's actually one called Demon Face or
Yeah, demon face.
Demon Face or something like that, and that actually happened in one of the outlets that I used to work at. That story I'm not gonna tell because I want you all to go and watch. That if you have not watched it yet,
Yeah,
please,
yeah.
Cross
go and watch
promotion.
it.
Demon in the stick. We love
Thank
it.
you.
Okay.
I need to give a lot of power to
But at
that.
the same time, there was this period. So this area had a murder before. It was of a father-in-law that murdered his son-in-law, and then things happened and whatnot. So just know this area, okay? So then. No, that area. That area. All right, that area. Okay. So this was a very new outlet that we opened, and we were my ex-GM and I, we were just having a drink outside, thinking of like what we can do better for the business. And it was time to close already. And back then, on those streets, police were quite strict. They will come down and like climb you and say, hey, it's 12 o'clock, why are you still serving, and that kind of things. So we were always like ready to close at 11:30. And then my GM was like, hey, but there's a customer that just walked in. I'm like, okay. So went in, look at my colleague, and I'm like, hey, Where's the customer that just walked in? Then my colleague looked at me like, what customer? Then I went out, I looked at my GM and I was like, I think whatever you saw is not there lah. Maybe it's time to go home. Maybe it's time to go to the next outlet that we need to look after. So it's like, okay. Close. The next day, we were talking about it, like, oh, what was this? And why did we see somebody walk into our outlet? So we were really quite worried because it's a shop house, and there were many access points into this outlet. And because it was very new, a lot of our equipment are really quite expensive too. Right? So we didn't want to be like, hey, maybe this guy is hiding or something like that. So we were just like, okay, maybe you should go and look into our CCTV, right? And true enough, the CCTV caught it. So this outlet is very unique in a way, where the moment you walk into it, you will see two staircases. One brings you upwards, one brings you to the basement. At the back of the outlet is the same. You will see again one staircase brings you up to the kitchen and down to where the basement dining area is, right? CCTV caught the CCTV that we were using were all like motion sensors only. So when there's only motion, then it will start capturing. We saw a shadow that just walked in from our main door. We'll walk through our dining area. From our dining area, we'll walk up to our kitchen, walk out, and just kept repeating the same cycle over and over and over again. So I look at my GM. So what do? We don't know. We see how. Next thing you know, after we saw this, I call him uncle because he was dressed in a very old manner. You know, like your brown pants with a belt that's like gold buckle, and then he's like a white, something like that. Like, you know, bring up to the waist kind, and then the very thin white kind of T-shirt, and then my 哇吓死我every single time we see him, our business the next day will be damn hot. We will be very packed. We'll be like, wow, what's happening? What happened today, man? How come it's like so crazily packed tonight? Then, unfortunately, during the pandemic, we had to close, right? After the thing closed, Carl asked me, so do you ever see this uncle again? Guys, I kid you not, I've seen him here before. Every time I see him, the next day I know for sure I need to make sure my part-timers are on standby. Because every time I see him, the next day it will be like, wow, Kizuna will be damn packed, we'll have a queue and everything.
Where?
Where is he? Exactly.
Here?
So,
why are you pointing to him?
So, he always likes corners. So he likes corners and at the same time he likes to see the outside.
Corner and outside,
Okay, so the same thing.
That's why the dog barking, yeah.
The same thing in our old outlet. He will always be at the only table that is facing the door. And he will always sit there, and then we will be like, okay, Uncle Zai, okay, hello, everybody call stand by your part-timers first. Yeah, so every now and then we still see him, and every now and then when we still see him, the next day we'll be like, okay, we need more member. Hey, hello, come down and help, because not enough manpower. Yeah, so that's it. Maybe you'll never know. Maybe. No, I want to sit down there. Yeah.
We should see him very often.
Of course, I would love to see him, but
my very important question relevant to tonight. Did you see him last night?
I didn't see him, but I sort of know that he was around lah.
Okay lah, good lah.
Is he here now? No, he's not.
How do you know? How do you sort of know that he is around?
When he's around, I will get a feeling of like a father come and see his, or rather grandfather come and see his grandson kind of like feeling. Yeah, but I'm not getting it now lah. Okay, I'm getting the
But it's
the evilness from her.
it's only when you see him the day before, right? Okay lah, alright lah. So at least we can count today as a success.
Sorry? No way. I don't think she does. Also, please adopt, don't buy.
Yes. Very good message. Very good message.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Sam. having spirited discussions, yes. Do we have time for one?
We got two more stories.
Two more
we got
stories?
time for two more
Alright.
stories. And anyone who wants to come up, yes, you.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
It's not a personal. Okay, hi.
Hi, can I
Hi.
get your name? Kaka or?
Just call me Miss Ang.
Okay, Miss Ang. Miss Ang. Okay.
Okay, so I'm a person who's very not spiritually attuned. Can I put it like super not sensitive to things? It's always happened to people around me.
Right.
So the clubbing story just now from earlier kind of reminded me of one classic one. Have anybody heard of Madam Wong's at Mohammad Sultan?
Yeah.
So back in the early 2000s when I was a party girl, I party with a bunch of people who were from IRC. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, and then we were, one of the places that they like to frequent, right, is Madam Wong's because they play top 40s, you know, like retro music, all your Rick Astley and stuff, you know. So we will go there, of course we get like bloody drunk because somebody will open a bottle and then we will like, you know, get sloshed and then like, yeah. So it was one of those nights, right? I mean, we've heard stories about that place before. It's a very old shop house at Mohammad Sultan. It's a very long unit, and at the back of the units are some really filthy, dirty toilets, where the ladies are and all that, and that's part. Both. Yeah, I remember it was really dark and janky there, and you know it's worse than kopitiam toilet, that kind of feeling, lah. Okay. But when you're drunk, like you are like, okay, like whatever, you know. But I mean, I've read a lot. I grew up on True Singapore Ghost Stories. I'm sure a lot of you all do. So that place was actually rumored to be a portal from hell or something. Yeah. So a lot of them would come through a portal near the toilet area at the back of the building, right? And then, so there was one time we were partying, and then there was one of our regulars. He's a very flamboyant fella, very gay, and he is known for having the third eye. So he would be the ones that's, okay, guys, time to leave kind of thing.
Yeah.
So there were a few occasions that were like that, but that one, he was really freaked out because we were all like on the podium dancing and all super drunk and all that. The music was loud, the lights was banging, and then all of a sudden he just like, okay, guys, everybody get out now, everybody get out now. He like suddenly sobered up and all that, and then start ushering us out, and then we all huddled out like, why you chase us all out? They said, yeah, he just saw a lot of
things
happening, beings, popping out from the toilet area at the back and flowing out to the dance floor where everybody is, and he's like, okay, party's over, time to go home.
The VIPs arrived.
Yeah. We are like, what? Yeah, but of course we were too drunk to carry us. Like, yeah, like that only. Never mind, why? Yeah, I don't care lah. But I mean, that was one of the. But after that, the next day when you sober up and you're like, oh my god, you realize that, and then just a bit of a continuation of this story is it happened to this friend with the third eye. So another friend of mine drove him home one day,
right,
after partying also, and they were on PIE towards the west, and then all of a sudden the friend said, that third eye friend, he said, are your doors locked? Then my friend who's driving is like, yeah, it's auto lock one, you know, when you drive it's auto lock. Okay, then he's like, okay. You sure it's locked? He got very worried and then he kept looking in front. So when he got home and then reached his house downstairs, and then my friend asked him, so what happened? What was that?
Yeah.
He was like creeped out, you know. He said, yeah, there was a lot of a family, VIPs crossing the road at PIE near the Clementi side. Yeah. So say, yeah, please. Then my friend asked, okay, so what does locking the doors even do?
I was going to ask that question.
Yeah.
You can just teleport.
Yeah. It's he says it's like a symbol, it's like a sign saying that do not enter. It's out of bounds for you. It signifies something that, you know, it's out of bounds for you. Yeah, you can pass but don't come in, kind of thing. So yeah, that was quite interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask if the Madam Wong place is still operating?
Yeah.
It's still around lah. Okay. But is it still like a club or no, something else lah?
Ooh.
Okay.
I'm going to let you answer those questions so that I don't age myself also. So yes.
Yeah. So I mean, to add on to her story, club, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell a KTV one.
Oh, is this the one?
That's the one.
Alright.
So this is not my story. It's my friend's mother's story. She used to work in a KTV as a waitress. So this was back in the, I would say 80s. So anybody know where Serangoon is? Serangoon, Chinatown, right? Serangoon. Serangoon is Cantonese, means that the road of the dead. So back in like 50s or 60s, there was the bubonic plague. So Black Death lah. So there's a lot of like plagues going on. So people will put them in death homes to die lah. There's no cure ma. And then right beside them were funeral homes. So that whole stretch of road, right, is all like death, dealing with death.
Yep.
There's a reason why the Buddha temple, the big tooth temple, is there. That's the reason. Yeah. So Serangoon in the 80s, this was shortly after they converted it into shop houses for regular use lah. So she worked in the KTV, and she always worked late shifts, 3-4 a.m. easily. So she was relatively young at that point, and this was during the 7th month. 3 a.m. shift over already. Her job is to actually ensure all the different rooms are emptied. So she go empty all, right? Then she checked, okay, all empty already. Then she went back to the front desk with a friend who's there like counting the money or something. And then she saw, like right at the corner of her eye, she saw 4 individuals walking into the last room. And then you all know that the thing called Nan Hong Nu Li. Is it? Am I correct? So Hong Nan Li Ni. So
I'm just gonna nod my head.
So like, you know, like the dead, right? When you burn the incense in Chinese culture for the dead, there's a certain color. So they are dressed in that particular color. Yeah. So male in red, female in green. And then they walk into the KTV room at the far corner at the end. And then her just like, doing her job. She didn't even realize it's 7 months.
Yeah.
She was like, okay, I'm going to go and tell them, go home because we are close. Then before she could do that, her friend stopped her. He said, what are you doing? He's like, no, stop them lah. They close already. Then he said, no. He said, don't. He said, but they are not customers. They haven't paid yet. Even if they want to do, they have to pay what? He said, no, those are not people. It's like, just pretend that you didn't see anything. Yeah. Then after that, she went home, but she could always feel something following her. And she being a relative young woman, she felt very, very irked lah, like, wow, got something following me. Then that persisted for a few weeks, and she keeps seeing that group of people going into the last room. But she's saying already, she know, like, I shouldn't ask anything. And at the end, right, she got a Sakyan tattoo. Sakyan tattoo is basically a Thai Buddhist scripture at her back. with invisible ink, so she felt protected lah. After that, it kind of stopped. Yeah, but from once in a while lah, she will still see it. But now she like just act as if she never see. So that KTV, I think, is still around in Serangoon Lane. Yeah.
Okay. Guess I'm not going for KTV anytime soon.
Not at Serangoon Lane lah. Come on.
Certainly not lah.
Yeah,
all right.
it's creepy.
We're what time are we? 10:50.
Yeah.
Do we have time for? Shall we start wrapping up?
Yeah,
or-
we have time for one more. If
One
you
more?
want to tell yours.
I got
The
a few, but
Jen.
no. I was thinking. Well, yeah,
Nearby one.
that's true. Okay, fair enough.
We
That's
should always
true.
tell the nearby stories.
Tell nearby stories. All right, so to close us out, this one's a relatively short one, relatively simple.
Back to the original place where it started.
Correct. So this is the I say off Yio Chu Kang Road, so a bit further in, closer to Perry, that side, Perry Avenue, if you all know where it is. Kind of close to Kovan also.
Yeah.
So I have family who used to live in that area. They were renting a place, 4 stories, nice place, and old. The neighborhood's all very quiet, but it's an old area. And when they moved in, nothing happened. You know, big place. Kids were all excited, like, oh, I got my own room, you know, and I got my own toilet now. It's really great and everything. So yeah, they're all settled in and everything. But there was one night where the son in the family, I won't say how they related to me, but the son in the family was heading to the toilet. And toilet's on the same floor as him. His room's on the 2nd floor. He's walking towards the toilet. And then he hears like humming behind him. Somebody said, I don't know what the song sounded like, but it was basically something along the lines of just a tuneless kind of hum. And he thought it was his sister. But he thought it was very weird. Because why did his sister sound like an old woman? He assumed bad throat lah, probably. So he was like, that's strange, whatever lah. And then he just went to the bathroom, did his thing, went back. And this happened to him a couple of times. Like, different nights. And spread out. It was never like one after the other, but like every couple of nights later, that humming again. And eventually he realized that's not her. And he was like, okay, just ignore it. It's probably my imagination and everything. It eventually did get to him. And one day over breakfast, he was telling his dad. You know, he's telling his dad, like, I've been hearing. And it was just him and his dad at the table. And he was telling his dad what was happening and everything. And he was like, yeah, I hear the humming and everything. At that point in time, his sister walks down. And she doesn't hear the rest of the story. She doesn't know what they're talking about. She only hears the end where he said, it was something along the lines of, yeah, and it felt very weird. And as she's walking down, she looks at him and she goes, you heard the humming also, right? And he was like, you heard it also? She's like, and she's on, like, I think she's on a separate floor from him where they were staying, and she heard the humming as well. So the humming was always coming from the staircase between the floors. So yeah, that's my...
Is it the one near the abandoned
Oh
school?
yeah, well, it's not abandoned, but to add a little bit more extra context to this, where they're staying,
Kang Chubin.
probably about 5 minutes walk away. It's this wonderful little park. Beautiful trees and everything. Slight difference is that it's also a Japanese cemetery.
Yep.
And it is, if I recall, it mostly has buried sex workers that were in Singapore during the war, and so they're mostly buried there. Somebody got that plot of land and decided to give them proper burial and everything. So yeah, it probably did fit, because he did say like, oh, it's an older woman. What he meant by older woman was, you know, this member of my family, clearly younger than me, it's like, oh, probably in her 30s or something like that. No dog in the story, don't worry. We remember you though. And yeah, so that was what happened to them at that particular area. I think, do we have enough time left? That's it?
Yeah.
All right, we do have, like we said, everybody here who's told the story, if you haven't already got the poster from us, if we still have the posters, we'll pass you guys posters as well. Sam, you already got quite a few posters on here. You okay?
Okay.
We sign for you later on, okay?
We'll give you a good one.
Okay.
We'll give you a good one.
We sign for you, we kiss the poster for you if you want also.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh,
can.
for me, no problem. We did also say that our two favorite stories of the night, the two stories that we feel were the creepiest,
Yep.
would get Audio Technica prizes. Now, just to be clear, the Audio Technica prizes, don't worry, you won't have to haul them back with you. Audio Technica will deliver them to you.
we'll get your
we just need to get your
details.
address.
Yep.
Now, we've already told one person who their prize is.
We should review, yeah.
Yeah, so Mark was the one who told us about. Yeah, his
He's what's the road name again? I forgot the road name already.
Andrews.
No. It was
Stevens.
Mount Pleasant.
Yeah,
Mount Pleasant
so
area.
I think it was we probably felt that he deserved to be one of the winners, as much for how scary the story was as for the fact that they just kept going.
Yeah. Teenage stupidity, man.
Yeah, it's the only time we will reward teenage stupidity.
Yep. Garang.
We haven't decided who our next prize winner is.
We did.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You reveal it, I can't remember.
Yeah, Japan one. Yeah. Yes, Kyoto. Congratulations.
Congratulations. We will get your details later on,
Yeah.
and we'll get Audio Technica to send you your prizes.
We can all agree that was pretty scary.
I like how we didn't even reveal it, and literally everybody was like,
Everybody's like the Japan one, the Japan one. Yeah. It's the sliding door lah. Like if you told me it was like an open, but the sliding door is like the ghosts don't care. The ghosts don't care.
For me, it was the sliding door, the sliding door, and the
no, and the lying
the
down
heights.
beside you.
Oh, that one goes without.
That's just rude lah. That one. It's spoil people holiday all.
All right, so 3 hours you guys have stuck with us. Thank you so much.
Yep.
We just want to say, like, we knew we were gonna have fun tonight. We didn't realize how much fun we were gonna have.
Give this guy something.
I couldn't be honest if I tried. So we wanted to thank you guys for joining us. Thank you so much. Events like this live and die, no pun intended, by how much fun you guys are having, how much you're enjoying this, and how much you're sharing. And you guys were fantastic, up to and including the dogs as well.
Of
so
course,
thank
the
you
dogs.
guys.
If you want more of this, let Kizuna know.
Yes.
We probably can come back next year.
Yep. Maybe Hungry Ghost Man?
Hungry Ghost Man,
Hungry
you
Ghost
there?
Man,
You there, I there. We burn more lah, burn more.
Halloween can Hungry Ghost Man, you're like, don't play already. Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
Got a few other people to thank as well. We wanted to thank Audio Technica for
the mics.
Oh, we're looking
and
at
then
for the mics
and the giveaway.
For the gifts.
Yep.
And for supporting us since I think near the start of Ghost Maps.
Big thank you to Kizuna
Yes.
for the location, for the food, for the drinks.
Drinks.
Like, they did a good job, right? The drinks and the food, You guys enjoy yourself, right?
Kizuna.
The kaka.
Everyone, all you guys working on that, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for
all your hard work for tonight. Thank you for feeding them alcohol, which made them even more receptive to come up on stage.
They are the real heroes. We just sit here and talk only.
All right. Everybody scan the QR code already. Is all right.
Yeah.
That's the last bit of.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I shall.
Yeah.
I'm getting there. Hang on.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to do our self-promotional spiel. I'm going to have a bit of a salesman voice. Don't mind it, okay? New episodes of Ghost Maps go online every second and fourth Thursday of the month. We're on Spotify, we're on YouTube, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on all the major platforms. You can go down there, you just look for us, where you can find us by our handle, I guess.
Yeah, make sure you don't miss an episode.
Yeah.
Subscribe to us.
Subscribe to us.
Follow us on social media.
Yeah, it's called. You can look for us.
We are
as-
HANTU.
Yeah, we are HANTU. So that's
One word.
WEAREHANTU.
Yep.
So to make sure you never miss an episode, like Kyle said, subscribe now. Follow us on social media. Also at We Are HANTU. Again, one word. If you would like to share your own stories with us beyond the ones that you already shared, that will be turned into future episodes of Ghost Maps, you can just reach out to us. Well, you could talk to us now, or
Reach out to us on the contact form.
Contact form on hantu.sg.
HANTU, really HANTU. The company name is called HANTU. HANTU,
Yes.
HANTU.sg.
We cannot believe that the URL.
We got the domain name. We're very proud.
Very proud of that one.
Yeah.
Carl, I think actually celebrated a little bit. You can message us directly through Facebook or Instagram as well
Yep.
if you want. You can also be one of our supporters on Patreon.
Yeah.
At patreon.com/wearehantu.
/wearehantu.
And finally, we're going to give our standard
Usual
sign-off line.
Yep.
It's a bit cheesy. Yeah, sorry.
No. Not yet. I mean, if you're into that, I don't know. Yeah.
Not yet.
A bit too early, lah. But yeah.
We're trying to figure out how we can enter that field, but...
Yeah.
Rough. All right, let's end this night.
And
Ready,
3,
go?
2, 1.
And remember, just because they're stories doesn't mean they're not true.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night, guys.